I would like to call our Monday, June 22nd, 2026 Common Council meeting to order. Clerk Torado, I believe you'd like to make some comments regarding the link for this meeting and other expectations.
Good evening, members of the public. To maintain good audio quality for council and yourselves, we will be muting everyone not speaking by default. If you would like to speak during a public portion of the meeting, please submit your request in the chat. Directions to do so will be listed. We ask that you provide your full name and residential address, as those are required for all speakers at in-person council meetings. Those wishing to speak virtually must activate their camera, displaying the speaker to be recognized by the chair. Additionally, if you are called on to speak, please provide your details in the following format. My name is full name, and I live at residential address, and I would like to speak for or against the agenda item. You will then be given 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
All right. We want to remind you that disrespectful, rude, or disruptive speech or actions will not be tolerated. Such speech or actions, as well as verbal attacks on any person, may result in the individual without notice forfeiting the remainder of his or her allotted time. And as Clerk Torado said, those who will be participating online, you must turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Again, welcome everybody to our meeting, and we're so glad to have all of you here today. And so at this time, I'm going to call Pastor Lowell Kosick from Livingstone Church. Would everyone please stand as he gives our invocation? Please give your name and address for the record.
My name is Lowell Kosak. I'm the lead pastor at the Livingstone Church. I reside at 52100 Hollyhock Road, South Bend, Indiana. Would you join me in prayer? God of mercy, justice, and peace, tonight we gather on behalf of the city we love. We give thanks for South Bend, for every neighborhood and every block, every front porch and playground, every classroom and workplace, every home and every person whose story is woven into the life of this community. We give thanks for those entrusted with leadership and public service. As the members of this council gather to deliberate and discern, grant them wisdom beyond knowledge, courage beyond convenience, and a deep commitment to the common good. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. In a world that often teaches us that bigger is better, that success belongs to the strongest, and that power is something to be grasped and protected, teach us a different way. Teach us the way of peace, the way that seeks not the flourishing of a few, but the well-being of all, the way that measures success not merely by what is built, produced, or accumulated, but by whether our neighbors are thriving, the way that remembers that a community is only as healthy as its most vulnerable members. Where there is division, let us cultivate understanding. Where there is fear, let us embody compassion. Where there is despair, let us kindle hope. Where there is darkness, let us bring light. Open our eyes to those who are too often overlooked, the poor and the struggling, the immigrant and the refugee, the elderly and the lonely, the child in need of opportunity, the neighbor whose voice is rarely heard. May we never become so focused on progress that we forget people. May we never become so consumed with achievement that we lose sight of dignity. May we never seek prosperity at the expense of justice, nor security at the expense of compassion. Instead, help us build a city where every person is seen, every voice is valued, and every neighborhood has the opportunity to flourish. Give us hearts that are quicker to understand than to be understood, quicker to serve than to be served, and quicker to love than to be loved. And may the work done here tonight contribute to a peace that is more than the absence of conflict, a peace that is marked by justice, belonging, opportunity, and hope, a peace in which all people can live, work, worship, learn, and flourish together. For the good of our city and the well-being of our neighbors, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now we'll stand and face the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone, we have very long committees to this afternoon, so Clerk Toronto, you are our engineer on this train today. So I ask that you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Good and Rogers,
Present.
Councilmember McBride,
Present.
Councilmember Dr. Bottinger,
Present.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Present.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Present.
Councilmember White is excused, Councilmember Dr. Davis,
Present.
Vice President Niskoski,
Present.
President Lee,
Present.
8 council members present.
All right. Now we'll do reports from the subcommittee on minutes for June 8th, 2026.
To the Common Council of the City of South Bend, the subcommittee has been inspected of the June 8th, 2026 meeting of the council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved.
All right, I will now entertain a motion.
I
Motion
move
to approve.
Yep. Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. All right. We will not have any special business today, but we will have reports from our city office, our age-friendly plan, and our Deputy Chief of Staff, Allie Dozer Lane, is going to be making her presentation. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sorry, give me one moment to get my presentation up. My name is Allie Doles Lane. I'm Mayor Mueller's Deputy Chief of Staff, and my offices are in this building on the 6th floor. Hey, good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for having me this evening to present to you about our South Bend Regional Age-Friendly Plan. You all have a copy of that plan in front of you today. The plan was presented on March 27th as a final draft to the community. After that presentation, we made a few final edits based on community input from that session, and that is the plan in front of you today, is the final version. So first of all, you might be asking, what is an age-friendly plan and why do we need one? South Bend and St. Joe County both have aging populations. By 2030, almost a fifth of St. Joe County residents will be over the age of 65. So this plan serves as the roadmap to make South Bend more livable, accessible, and prepared as we prepare for an aging population. It makes our housing, our infrastructure, and all of our services more well prepared for our residents. I just wanted to mention that the role of the Common Council is mainly with the policy decisions and the budgeting decisions around this plan. So while this plan doesn't formally call on the council, it's part of the zoning regulations, the housing policy, and all of the infrastructure that you all make decisions about each day. As you continue to make decisions about budgeting and about policy, these are just some things to keep in mind, our aging residents and their livability. So the age-friendly action plan, as I mentioned, it's a roadmap, and it's called an action plan because it is action-oriented. So it's guided by the 8 domains of livability by the AARP, and it focuses on livability for older residents. The plan also has a guide for implementation, notes different partnerships, and has an accountability guide by listing those partners and listing performance indicators. So throughout this planning process, we held multiple listening sessions, engaging more than 70 residents. We had held more than 14 stakeholder meetings, which were with our partner organizations, the city and the county. We had more than 262 surveys taken, and the average age of our survey takers was 67 years old. So as I mentioned, the planning process involved a lot of listening and a lot of information gathering. Our service provider expertise was essential, so Real Services was a major partner in this planning process. And all of this aimed to center the lived experience of our older adults. So I have a little word cloud here of some of the themes that came out of our listening sessions. As you can see, affordable housing is a major theme, social opportunities, volunteer opportunities, transportation. There were a lot of mentions of these things. Some of the key gaps that were identified during the process were around housing, around the affordability of housing, missing middle housing, and the ability for all of our residents to age in place, which means that they can stay in their homes in a dignified way as they get older. Other gaps that were identified were transportation. We found that the vast majority of residents through our survey noted that they get everywhere by car. So as you get older, this sometimes becomes impossible. So there was a lot of focus on transportation throughout our listening process. Other gaps that were identified were communication and awareness about services, as well as about social opportunities. So loneliness and social isolation were noted as well, especially since the pandemic, and about awareness of opportunities. Finally, accessibility is a key gap in all aspects of this plan because mobility, hearing, communication, affordability, and other forms of access are essential for all parts of this plan. Here. Okay, and as I mentioned, the plan focuses on 5 main goals, and attached to each of those goals or attached to all of those goals are 25 actions, actions that have tangible steps and partners. So our goals revolve around housing, communication, transportation, community and health services, and engagement and inclusion. And these also mirror the 8 domains of livability from AARP. So as I mentioned, the 25 actions are tangible steps. They list our implementation partners. Many of them list the city. The city is one of the main implementers, along with Real Services, other organizations like United Way of St. Joseph County, the library, La Casa de Amistad, and others. So the implementation partners, along with our implementation target date between 1 and 3 years, helps to make these actions tangible and helps to bring accountability to them. I also mentioned our key performance indicators. So we have KPIs that are associated with the actions in the plan, and so we will measure them annually to show progress on this plan. These KPIs can range from how many residents are enrolled in our senior discount program for our utilities. It can range from how many people attended an event, but this really helps us have a baseline data point and to show progress as we move through this plan. I also wanted to point out that the city already does a lot of age-friendly work. So some examples of these programs are our home repair program and our zoning code. So our home repair program has been a very popular program that helps individuals to stay in their homes for longer while also helping our housing stock to stay viable for longer. Our zoning code a few years ago was updated, and it included ADUs or accessory dwelling units, also known as mother-in-law suites. So those are also helpful for helping individuals to age at home instead of maybe having to go to facilities, and to stay close to family members. In our public safety realm, we have our community paramedicine program, and that program aims to divert calls away from emergency services and get older residents and other vulnerable residents access to medical care, and that's not just on an emergency basis, as well as education on how to stay safe in their homes as they age. Finally, our innovation and technology department is another great example. We have a digital equity roadmap, and we have a great team of accessibility who are working on accessibility of our websites, so that individuals with disabilities who may have to use screen readers, for example, can access all of our information in just as high quality of a way as everyone else. So these are some great things that are already happening in the city. So just to wrap up, I want to tell you about the timeline. As I mentioned, there's a 3-year implementation phase outlined in this plan. The partnerships that we have with various community organizations, city departments, and the council will continue to grow as we implement this plan. We are starting on implementing the year 1 priority actions, which you can see in your plan. And as I mentioned, an annual list of key performance indicator progress will also be shared once we get a new data point to compare to our baseline. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. That was a very quick, quick run through of the plan. It's kind of long, so feel free to take your time and reach back out to me if you have any questions. Thank you all.
Thank you. At this time, council members, do you have any questions?
No questions, but just a word of thank you. You said this is by 2030. During that year, I will be 62, amazingly, and I will definitely appreciate all of these different things that we are not put it only for everybody else, but also for my aching knees and other issues. So it is real that I cannot believe that I literally put 60 in my own mouth, but it comes. And so we have to make sure that generations from the 80s will now be in the 60s. It's really amazing. But we have to do that in our planning and in our zoning, and to be making sure that we transportation and everything else. And so I appreciate what our city has done through the years. And now I'm very grateful for your presentation tonight, because it is a huge population, and we are living longer. My daddy's turning 96 this year. So making these kind of arrangements for us helps us to have a stronger South Bend. So I appreciate what you're doing and continue the great work.
Thank you, Dr. Davis.
Anybody else? Ali, what was something that made people really want to stay here in South Bend as they age?
I don't know if you noticed on the word cloud, there was a lot of mention of Howard Park. That was one of the biggest words. So people really appreciate our green spaces and our public infrastructure. So having the ability to go on long bike rides, long walks, enjoy time outside, that was something that came up over and over again. One of the things I mentioned as a barrier was, some people were wondering, how would people without a car get to these places? And so that's something that we need to continue to work on. But people cited loving this community and finding that our public infrastructure was a wonderful aspect and made them want to stay here.
All right. Thank you. If that being all, thank you very much. And tonight is tonight your last presentation for us?
I believe so, yes.
All right. We want to wish you the very best in
Thank
all
you
that
so
you do in your next level of living. She's actually leaving the country. So yeah. So thank you very much for your service to our community. All right. Thank you. All right. I will now entertain a motion to resolve into the committee of the whole.
So moved.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes.
Committee of the Whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council's meeting where bills are given a second reading and public hearing before a committee made up of all 9 council members. All bills set for this second reading and public hearing have previously been given a first reading and a committee hearing prior to this evening's meeting. In addition, we will hear from the chairperson of the standing committee where the bill was discussed and the results of that discussion. If the proposed ordinance is a zoning ordinance, a report from a staff member will be given. In all other situations, the formal presentation on the proposed ordinance will immediately follow the committee report. The formal presentation shall be untimed as provided by Section 211D of Chapter 2, Article 1, immediately following the formal presentation on the bill. Council members will have the opportunity to ask preliminary questions of the staff and the presenter. Then the members of the public shall have the opportunity to address the council about the bill in the public hearing session. Clerk Torado, will you please give Bill 2926 a second reading?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 4101 South Main Street and 4115 South Main Street, Councilmanic District Number 5 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, Madam Chair, there is a report from the Zoning and Annexation Committee. Our Zoning and Annexation Committee met this afternoon, and we bring Bill number 2926 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Is there a staff member presenter? State your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Brian Killen, zoning administrator, 5th floor of City Hall. Bill 2926 is a rezoning request for two parcels on South Main Street, 4101 and 4115. South Main Street from Suburban 1, Neighborhood 1 to commercial. This is, over the time, this area's really evolved from a more residential area, largely suburban, small homes, to largely commercial. As you can see from the slide, it pretty much this request currently is to rezone the one island of residential that remains in this area along South Main Street. It's currently, and if passed, it would leave that one parcel you see in yellow. That's all of the parcels are currently vacant of any structures. And you see here from Main Street and here from Barbie, it's pretty much vacant land. So this rezoning request, we feel aligns with, with the now commercial industrial feel, more commercial feel of this area. The proposed use by the current owner would be a kind of a flex workspace, storage space for to support small businesses that need a mix of storage, but also office space to run their businesses. So this comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the Zoning and Annexation Committee.
Council members, do you have any questions at this time from the petitioner?
Well, petitioners come up.
Petitioner coming up.
He has to come in. Petitioners come.
Nathan Flickner, 1402 East Mishawaka Avenue, representing the client on this.
Could you speak up, please?
Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, like Brian said, just trying to get it rezoned to commercial to fit with the other properties there in the neighborhood. It will leave one residential lot left there. We are not the current owners of that. And the house has been raised off of that, so it is vacant land in that whole block. The flex space use, it allows for storage, more like contractor storage. If you got building materials for your next project, you can store them inside out of the weather. And there's also a small office area and a bathroom in there to do their quotes and, get pricing, make some phone calls back, and just take care of their normal business so they don't have to run it out of their house or something like that. And I'm available for any questions you might have.
Okay. Kind of got ahead of myself a little bit now, council members. Do you have any questions? No questions?
No, I
Yeah,
think-
I think he did. I think he's the president.
Was you, Council President?
I was just going to make the comment that we talked about it a lot in committee, and so I think everybody's questions got answered.
At this time, do we have anyone?
I had a question because I wasn't here. I'm not on this committee. So I think I just heard you, and I'm having really trouble with my hearing, but you said a storage unit is going to be built there? Is that the
Yeah,
definite?
it's called flex storage.
Okay,
So it's a little more of a step up than just your normal store your residential storage stuff in there. It'd be some building materials you could store in there. I think the one person that's wanting to get it has the monument for cemeteries that they would store in there, things like that. But it's not like a storefront or outdoor, anything
Okay.
like that.
one more question if I could. What kind of security will you have?
Well, I think with the ordinance, we'll have to have that security fence all the way around there, since
Okay.
we are on roads on all sides there. So we'll have to have it screened all the way around on us.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone at this time from the public wishing to speak in favor or against?
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor at this time.
If there's no one, then the public portion is closed.
I also do not see anyone wishing to speak in
In
opposition.
opposition. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm moving a little fast here. Okay, back to the council members. Okay, if not, then
I just have, I'm in favor of everything. I think, we just need to, do what we can to make sure that, we reach out to the council person in that district, and, because I don't think that they, were contacted for that standpoint. So, because it's a great development, needs to be done in there. I go get my car washed across there all the time, but, just so we could just make sure.
Fortunately, I drive by there all the time, so I know it's
Yeah,
open. So I'm Fifth District.
Zoning sends a bulletin every month that
Mhm.
includes all the, so I'll do a better job with
Yeah.
in
You got
direct.
a lot to do.
I know,
You
I know,
know?
so-
But
Yeah.
just specifically for those kind of
All right.
things. I appreciate it.
So in the future, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
at this time, the public hearing is closed. Back to the council members. Any more questions?
Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Clerk Toronto, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger. Aye. Councilmember Thomas Morgan. Aye. Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
A point of information, Madam Chair. Just wanted to let you know, I forgot to do this before, but the bill for 3026, we have in our zoning and annexation meeting, we have tabled that for 2 weeks. That will be heard, and I believe that's July, the 12th or the 13th, what today?
The 13th.
13th, July the 13th, and during our zoning meeting. So that's, for those who are here for that bill, Bill 3026 has been tabled to July the 13th that afternoon. And we are going to receive some more information so we can have, look at all options that were stated in the South Bend Plan meeting so we can come to a better decision. Or a decision. I want to call better or worse, just a decision. Thank you for that, allowing me that point of information.
Okay, let's go back to Bill 2926, because I didn't finish. I didn't say that it was going to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you, Dr. Davis, for that information. Clerk Toronto, will you give Bill 3126 a second reading?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the
Oh,
City
I'm
of South
sorry, we got to have the substitute first.
Please
I'm
accept the
sorry.
substitute.
Make a motion to accept the substitute bill. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing payments in lieu of taxes for Western Avenue 1 LLC.
Do we have a Do we have a presenter?
Good evening, Council.
Good
Joe-
evening.
Joe Molnar, Deputy Director of the Department of Community Investment with offices on the 5th floor of City Hall. Before you today is pilot payment in lieu of taxes proposed substitute bill 3126 to help support the Western Avenue Transformation District project. Because this is one of the first times as a whole the project has come before council, we'll do a quick overview on the project itself and then the details of what the pilot would include. Just to give some background of the area that we're speaking, primarily today we'll be concerned with the area outlined here in blue. This is the former project just to the west of Four Winds Field, but also included in the overall Western Avenue Transformation District project would include Phase 1B in the orange here. That is currently land owned by the Redevelopment Commission of the City of South Bend. And then a potential Phase 2, not at all included in this presentation, but for future dates would be the property outlined in green, building out that whole housing authority block. What is the Western Avenue Transformation District? It is the redevelopment of former dilapidated public housing developments on the southwest edge of downtown South Bend, owned by the Housing Authority of South Bend, which will create 210 mixed income housing units, of which more details on the income requirements in a little bit. This project really is a collaboration, years in the making, between the Housing Authority, the City of South Bend, the City of South Bend itself, and the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County. When the Housing Authority desired to redevelop the block and bring better quality, affordable housing to that part of town, they did a nationwide request for proposals, of which the Michaels organization submitted a proposal and was ultimately awarded by the Housing Authority. So the Michaels organization and the Housing Authority will be co-developers of this property. TMO, or the Michaels organization, is a national affordable housing developer with extensive experience and specifically partnerships with housing authorities. So this is certainly not the first time they've done a project like this as a partnership with a housing authority. And as I said, they were awarded the project through a competitive RFP process. Funding for this project is very diverse, using a lot of different resources, trying to make sure that we're getting the best project possible for South Bend. It includes funding from the Lilly Endowment that was awarded through the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County, Ready 2.0 dollars, which is a state grant process, HUD Section 108 loan that the City of South Bend was awarded to help implement infrastructure improvements, as well as LIHTC low-income housing tax credits. There's private equity and also local partners contributing to the whole project. Timeline to date, as I said, this has been a multi-year endeavor, starting really in 2023 when the determination was made to demolish the Monroe Circle apartments, which were on site just south of Rabbi Shulman. They were past the point of their livelihood from a building standpoint, and they had a lot of major issues like asbestos, wrapped piping, that was much more difficult to renovate than just demolish the housing and start new. So the determination was made to do that and really move forward with a whole new development, whole new neighborhood on that block, really bringing good urban principles in, as well as new quality affordable housing. So 2024 was spent doing neighborhood visioning meetings, depending what should the new neighborhood look like, what are some amenities that should be on site. At the end of 2024, there was that announcement of the Ready Blight funding, which has helped the funding capacity on the project. And then in 2025, as design commenced and really got into full gear, when we had a draft in August of 2025, went back to the community with feedback meetings then on the overall design. Fast forward to this past January, the former Rabbi Shulman apartment was demolished as well, leaving the site ready and fully for redevelopment. In February, the low-income housing tax credits were awarded by the state, leaving one of the last pieces for the funding pie. And then finally, in May of this year, the city was awarded the $10 million HUD Section 108 loan, which will actually be paid back through HUD Section 108 payments. That will primarily go to the infrastructure of the site. Just for some reference, the city did apply for that loan back in September. We were told it'd be 30 to 60 days. It ended up taking much longer due to the government shutdown. And then HUD reworked their application project after we had applied. And so we had to jump through a lot of hoops on that. And so we're very excited to get that award back in May and be able to move forward with the project, because we certainly need each one of these financing options to make sure this project happens. So as I said, it's a phased project, with phase 1A being that blue box and phase 1B being the orange box that'll hopefully come next year. For phase 1A specifically, it's 156 total units. 48 of those have to be affordable to those making under 50% of the area median income, 62 affordable to those making under 60% area median income, and then 46 unrestricted units. And what that means is this is determined by HUD guidelines that individuals making under those amounts, and just for reference here, for example, a household of two would be a household making under $35,000 a year annually. These units must be affordable to them, meaning they could pay no more than 30% of their monthly income. All of the 30% AMI and 50% AMI will also receive project-based vouchers that the individuals could use to pay for their rent. The TMO will work off a wait list provided by the Housing Authority. We had a good discussion at the committee today about how there is a list that the Housing Authority assembled when residents were relocated out of Rabbi Shlomo and Monroe Circle, and those former residents who were relocated will have primary priority to be the first ones to come back onto the site of the new built neighborhood, including being able to continue to use those project-based vouchers. So what are the overall funding sources for phase 1A, including construction of all the infrastructure needed? A new road will be going in, as well as infrastructure improvements to existing roads, such as Taylor and Western Ave, really making it not only a better living conditions for the residents, but also a better urban space, making sure that they have connections to downtown, that they're not having to cross a dangerous street. And then this also includes the cost of some of those demolitions that had already occurred. But you can see the breakdown here, and it's approximately a little over $59 million project, just 1A when you put all those sources together. As I mentioned, LIHTC, and I'm one to do, this is actually the 10th award that the City of South Bend partnership has received for low-income housing tax credits since 2022, and the city had had zero for the previous 10 years before then. That's a testament to the commitment from both council, who has supported every single one of the projects on this list, hopefully the ones today, as well as our partnerships with both local and regional outside sources to make sure that we can get affordable housing built in South Bend. The low-income housing tax credit process is certainly not perfect, and it has some challenges with it, but it is the primary way that the federal government and other partners help subsidize affordable housing, and it's a needed tool to get this done, as well as building new housing and renovating existing housing. So what will the end product look like for phase 1A? This is looking from Washington Taylor to the southwest. So one large new building at the corner, really embracing the corner well, quality build materials, and then some smaller buildings back behind it, really creating a whole new neighborhood. And I said, here's the new street that would be going in here, connecting it, and then a new park space for the residents and others in the area right there. Here's looking at the street level, so really making sure that the property has good connections with the street, that it's well designed. And I should note as well, in that larger building, the intention is to have a childcare center for residents as well, to be able to have daycare options when they're at work or going to school. And then here is the view looking towards downtown from the smaller buildings looking north. So to sum up, all new construction of all of these units with modern building materials, streetscape improvements, increasing that connection with downtown South Bend, on-site childcare, and new park space, all part of that overall package that the pilot would help support. The details of the pilot, or payment in lieu of taxes, would primarily support the Phase 1A project. Interestingly enough, this site, because it was owned by the Federal Housing Authority, which is a federal agency, did not pay any property taxes since the 1960s that we have record of. So this would actually be net generated new revenue that the city was not receiving at all. The It is listed here on the right, the payments each year as they would slowly increase with inflation from year 1 to year 15. These funds, per state law, must be put into a special account that then has to be spent by the city to be reinvested in further affordable housing. The actual owner making the agreement on the pilot is Western Avenue 1 LLC, which is a partnership entity created with both membership from the Housing Authority and the Michaels organization, which is why that triggers that tax need, and that commits them to building out the 156 unit commitment. Just really briefly on pilots. So the property owner pays the city that negotiated amount instead of paying traditional property taxes. This provides certainty to the property owner that they know what their taxes are going to be up front. Sometimes the LIHTC low-income housing tax credit projects are very hard to assess, and there's a lot of ambiguity what their taxes would be. This provides certainty for their financiers that they know exactly what their costs are going to be, and they can go forward with the financing, as well as then we can take those revenues that are paid and make sure they're reinvested back in South Bend. Finally, should say that the overall project leverages different sources for investment into the city, including federal, state, local, private. The city cannot do it alone, and the Housing Authority cannot do it alone. We want to make sure that we are using every tool that is available nationwide and regionally to get better housing and more affordable housing for South Bend residents. And what's exciting about this project is doing it in a quality way, making sure that the infrastructure around the housing is built in a way that it supports the residents and doesn't block them in and contain them into the unit. Both the pilot and the low-income housing tax credit program allows greater protections for the city as well as the state to monitor the property conditions. Those protections did not exist under Rabbi Shulman and Monroe Circle because those were not LIHTC and they did not have an agreement with the city. So this is just one more tool of monitoring to make sure that the units, once they're built, are maintained long-term. Timeline moving forward, we're hoping to begin on infrastructure work. The city is this summer to late fall, with hopefully construction on the housing by TMO beginning in early 2027 and a full construction of the entire neighborhood built out by the end of the year 2028. We're hoping that happens a little bit earlier, but we're certainly trying to be realistic with timelines. And with that, I will add that there's representatives from the Michaels organization here, as well as South Bend Housing Authority to add any comments I missed.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Keeney. I'm a Vice President of Development with the Michaels organization. Our offices are at 542 South Dearborn in Chicago. I think I saw most of you at 5 o'clock. Good to see you again. As I mentioned previously, we're very excited to move this project forward. It's been a long time in the making. As Joe mentioned, we received a tax credit allocation in February. We are advancing our architectural plans with Keel Architecture from South Bend, Land and Bone Baker Architects out of Chicago, and we will construct 7 mixed income buildings housing 156 residential units. We're thrilled to be partnering with the Housing Authority of South Bend. Commissioner Lukey's here as well. I don't want to restate anything that I said previously, so I am happy to answer any questions, and I want the commissioner to have an opportunity to speak as well. Thank you very much to the city for its support, and I should also mention the Housing Authority of South Bend and the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County. We're thrilled to be here.
Thank you, Andrea. Good evening, council members. My name is Steve Lickey. I reside at 1706 West North Shore Drive in the city of South Bend. I also am privileged to serve as vice chair of the Housing Authority of South Bend. This has been a long time coming. We are very excited to be able to partner with the Michaels organization, with the city of South Bend, with the Community Foundation to bring new development to this area of Western Avenue. It really works with the city's long-term plan. It works with the Western Avenue development plan. We heard during the invocation this evening about the importance of caring for the most vulnerable in the city. This is one opportunity to do that. But what we're really excited about is it really is a mixed income development. So there will be an opportunity for the whole community to be represented at this site. I think that that's extraordinary. The change in this location will be a great asset for the south end of downtown, for Four Winds Field, for the west side of South Bend, for the whole community. And the Housing Authority of South Bend is delighted to be part of this. We are grateful for the city's support in so many different ways. We heard that the pilot is not only an investment in this project, but it becomes the possibility for investing in future low-income housing as well. So we appreciate your consideration of this action and ask for your support for this bill tonight. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, back to the council members. Any preliminary questions?
Could I ask a question?
Councilwoman?
Thank you. You mentioned that you're going to be having a daycare at the facility. Can you say who's going to be running that? How does that operationally, how does that look?
I don't know that I want to disclose that just yet. We're in a conversation with a high-profile daycare provider. We've provided plans to them for review. We're going through like terms of the lease as well. Hopefully, we can come back to you in the next month or so and give you an indication of who that is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would add, it is a local daycare provider that's well respected in the community.
Very well.
That's very helpful. Thanks. That's very nice. Thanks.
Councilor President Lee?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your presentation, and we're very excited about this opportunity for the community. As you guys have done, pilot pay in lieu of taxes, the organization knowing exactly what their taxes are going to be. We said it in committee, but I just wanted for the public record that this gives this property an opportunity to actually create revenue, because before it was tax exempt and we received no tax or money on it. So at the end of the 15 years, it's $390,568 that will come back to the city or come back to be reinvested in other low-income opportunities in the future. After the 15 years, what happens then?
There's actually a longer term compliance period. So these properties will remain affordable for at least probably 40 years. After that point, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I probably won't be around. But oftentimes they're actually after year 15, dependent on how the buildings kind of fare and what condition they're in. Sometimes there's recapitalization. The same families will come back, but there will be additional capital dollars infused. I suspect that wouldn't be until at least year 20 to 25. After year 15, in terms of the property taxes, I think that it goes back to full freight.
Yeah, so once the pilot would expire after year 15, it would just go back to whatever a normal tax rate for a low-income housing project is. Those are really hard to estimate because they're not quite based on the assessed value in Indiana. It's based off the value of the rents. So they're kind of tricky but then that would kick in after year 15.
And then also for the record, when we were in committee, we did talk about that residents who were displaced because of the tear down, they get first right to come back. Could you talk about that a little bit for the record?
So when we demolished Monroe Circle and the Rabbi Shulman buildings, or when we vacated those structures, we followed all the HUD guidelines to relocate the residents who were in those properties at the time. Some of them were provided housing choice vouchers and are in privately owned apartments around the city. Others went to other housing authority units. But first off, we assisted them with those moves. So we didn't just strand them and say, you're on your own. The housing authority was very helpful to them to find appropriate housing as they relocated. But we did make a commitment that if they were interested in coming back when this new development was built, that they would have a priority spot. So as Andrea mentioned earlier, the housing authority will maintain a waiting list for the qualifying units within this development, and any of these residents who were relocated from this spot, if they desire to come back, now they may be perfectly happy where they are and don't want to come back, but they would have an opportunity to go on that waiting list and have a priority placement for placement in the new construction.
Thank you.
At this time, Councilman Davis.
Yes, I would like to ask Mr. Lickey. You said in your presentation that this was a long time coming. What gave you hope? You know, a lot of people, when they saw all of these houses and places being demolished and everything, there was a lot of negative talk or saying, we've forgotten the most vulnerable, as you talked about. And you've been at this really since the forefront. And what gave you hope to continue this and bring it to today?
First of all, commitment from the Board of Directors and our Executive Director of the Housing Authority to make this happen. Secondly, finding the appropriate partners for doing this. So the Michaels organization is well respected and have done developments around the country. Third, the other sources of funding that have been generated to support this. So the Community Foundation stepping up to bring the Lilly Grant to this site to help be able to provide daycare, to provide some other amenities that you wouldn't normally see in a low-income housing tax development. But I think finally it's the city itself and that the city wants to see this, and the participation by the city of South Bend with a variety of funding efforts, but the staff support has been incredible. So all of that gave me hope and belief that we would be able to make this happen. These are incredibly complicated projects to develop.
Agreed.
Multiple layers of funding that are required, but again, I think we have the right team in place to make this happen, and the commitment from both the Housing Authority, from the Michaels organization, the City of South Bend, the Community Foundation to see this real transformation for Western Avenue.
I appreciate your answer. I appreciate your service to our city. You remind me in many ways of President Carter. As he stepped away, he still dealt with housing. And he put housing on the top of his list, and you have put housing on the top of your list, and I appreciate that. So
Still near and dear to
I
my
really
heart.
thank you for that.
Councilwoman Bolden Simpson.
Thank you. I just forgot to express my extreme pleasure that this is a mixed income. We talked about, when we were talking about the reparation report and the apology, we talked about changing hearts. And when people interact with one another, that's when hearts change. So this is a good example of a policy that will bring about a change of heart. So we thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing this come to fruition.
Amen. Thank you.
Down to Councilwoman McBride.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to give a special thank you to Mayor Lickey. I know Commissioner, but like I stated earlier, I worked at the Housing Authority for 14 years, and a big passion of mine. And I know where your heart has always been with the Housing Authority when you served as mayor and led that way. So the Housing Authority have always had a strong board over the years. So going through no matter what tumultuous times, staying the course and working through with HUD and the city, I'm glad the city stepped up to also make sure that this came to fruition. So, but not leaving anyone behind. That was always my thought and goal. And I know despite the demolition of the Rabbi Shulman building and some of the dilapidated buildings and the boilers and all that stuff, whether it was something with the quads or the 501 building at the Alonzo Drive, you guys stayed the course and made sure that people who were displaced had a place to go. So I just like the idea of having a partnership with a mixed use, of having people feel inclusive, and also making sure that they have an opportunity to come back if they want to, and if not, they are all had the opportunity to be housed somewhere. So thank you again for the Housing Authority and this investment.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Councilwoman Morgan.
Thank you. I'm just going to add my gratitude to the others, and thank you all. This truly is a transformational project, and as you can tell from everyone's comments, everyone's really excited about this. Mayor Lickey, I recall us talking about this direction that the Housing Authority was moving into, that with mixed housing, and came with some questions, but also level of excitement that no longer are we interested in concentrating poverty in one area, but believe that healthy neighborhoods and healthy communities are better when people from all walks of life can interact and have uh, share diverse experiences and build community together. And that's what's really exciting about what's happening in Western Avenue. I know the neighborhood that I'm a part of, the near West Side neighborhood, is very excited about this. We want this community to have a neighborhood. And so it was considered in the near West Side neighborhood plan and sought a lot of input from the neighbors to the north. So thank you very much for your years of work in this and to all the partners that made this happen.
Yes, and I would just like to say that thank you for bringing more affordable housing to District 2.
You're welcome.
And at this time, we'll go to the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor or against Bill 3126?
I have Mr. Brad that is from the Housing Authority Commission. Can you please unmute yourself? Thank you, and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Brad Emberton. I live at 615 West Colfax Avenue in downtown South Bend, Indiana. I'm also a commissioner on the South Bend Housing Authority Board. And I'm here this evening to speak in favor of this resolution. I think this is a very important development, and this is an important step. I strongly encourage you to support this resolution and pass it for the betterment of our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, I do not see any additional members of the public that would like to speak in favor of the bill.
At this time, bring it back to the council.
I'm sorry,
Oh, didn't we do opposition?
we did not. We just did
Okay, is
individual
there
speaking
anyone in
favor.
opposition?
I do not see anyone from the public or online wishing to speak in opposition at this time. Thank you.
Okay, back to the council. Oh, we're gonna close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. So we can get back to the council now one more time, right? Okay. Okay. No? Okay. At this time, then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to bring this bill to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we have to make a
do
vote.
roll call.
Roll call.
Yes.
Roll call vote.
Are we gonna move on?
We are.
We're gonna get it.
Y'all taking my job. Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Beidinger,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
And Bill 3126 shall go to the council with a full favorable recommendation.
Hey, wonderful.
Clerk Tarada, will you read Bill 3226?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at Coal Line Trail, 1241 Riverside, parcel ID number 018-1094-3937, Councilmanic District number 1, 2, and 4 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, Madam Chair, the Zoning and Annexation Committee met this afternoon, and we bring bill number that is 3226 to the full council with a favorable recommendation. That's
Do we have a
3226.
presenter? Are you
Yeah.
Right there.
State your name for the
Good
record,
evening,
please.
Brian Killen, zoning administrator, fifth floor, City Hall. Hopefully this is a quick one. Again, Bill 32-26 is, we're requesting to rezone 5 currently unzoned parcels occupied by the Coal Line Trail. So it is open space. This process essentially is a formality, but the city acquired the land from Norfolk Southern in the 2010s and has since transformed it into a linear park. As being owned by the railroad, it didn't actually have any parcel designation. So when the city bought the parcels, we created the zone, the actual parcel ID numbers, but we didn't zone it. We didn't apply a zoning designation. So you see here, there is no zoning. We're looking to just apply the zoning of open space, which is the intended use for this space as park and open space. So again, pretty straightforward. So the I do present this position to the council with a favorable recommendation from the committee.
Council members, do we have any questions? Questions at this time? We'll go to the public hearing. To the public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? Bill,
At this time, I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor. I also, sorry. No, that's something else. I also don't see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
at this time, we'll close the public hearing. Back to the council. Any more?
Yes, like to bring this bill to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Beidinger,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
8 ayes.
Did you do me?
I think I did. Did I not call you?
Well, I'll say aye
I'm
anyway.
sorry, Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
I'm so sorry.
At this time, Bill 3226 should go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Clerk Torado, will you give Bill 3326 a reading?
It's a long one. Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city services operations for the year 2026 of $32,358 from the general fund number 101, $75,410 from the Parks and Recreation Fund number 201, $70,000 from the Motor Vehicles Highway Fund number 202, $360,000 from the Community Investment Operating Fund number 211, $7,034,537 from the Community Investment Grants Fund number 212, $767,050 from the Gift Donation Bequest Fund number 217, $37,000 from the Unsafe Building Fund number 219, $100,000 from the Loss Recovery Fund number 227, $122,500 from the Code Enforcement Fund number 230, $1 million from the Local Roads and Streets Fund number 251, $79,443 from the IT Innovation 311 Call Center Fund number 279, $80,000 from the Indiana River Rescue Fund number 291, $1.6 million from the Local Income Tax Economic Development Fund number 408, $255,000 from the Waterworks Operations Fund number 620, $994,620 from the Waterworks Capital Fund number 622, $420,000 from the Sewage Works Operation Fund number 641.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, there is, Madam Chair. This was held in the Personnel and Finance Committee and was given a favorable recommendation to the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Willis, you are the presenter.
Yes, Kyle Willis, City Controller, offices on the second floor of the City Hall building. Just key highlights from this bill, from Fund 408, appropriation of $1.5 million for street and repair maintenance expenses. From Fund 212, Community Investment Grants Fund, appropriation of a little over $7 million for HUD-led grant proceeds. And from Fund 217, Gift Donation Bequest Fund, appropriation of $720,000 for Bloomberg grant proceeds. As we did discuss this earlier in committee, but happy to answer any additional questions.
Committee, is there any questions? So at this time, we'll go to the public hearing. Do you have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against Bill, what's that, 3326?
At this time, I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor. I also do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
No question. At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Back to the council.
So with a favorable recommendation.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Good Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right, at this time, Bill 3326, let's go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Clerk Tirada, will you give Bill 3426 a reading?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana for budget transfers for various departments within the City of South Bend, Indiana for the year 2026.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, there is, Madam Chair. Bill 3426 was held in Personal and Finance today and was given a favorable recommendation to the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Willis.
Yes, Kyle Willis,
Give
City
him the floor.
Controller, offices on the second floor. Budget transfers, these are appropriated funds that have already been appropriated, so this is not new spending, but just highlight a couple of the three that we have here. Budget transfer of $800 in the General City Division to cover tool allowance for city management staff tool allowance expenses, and $3,799 budget transfer in the Engineering Division to cover travel for employees in that division.
Council members, do we have any questions? At this time, we'll go to the public hearing. Do you have anyone wishing to speak in favor?
At this time, I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Do you have anyone wishing to speak against?
At this time, I do not have any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
We will close the public portion and go back to the committee.
I'll make a motion to send 3426 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Clerk Tirado, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Good Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
I have 8 ayes.
At this time, Bill, what was that?
34.
3426 has been sent to the council with a favorable recommendation. Okay. Clerk Tirado, will you give Bill 3526 a reading?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending ordinance number 11233-25, which fixes maximum salaries and wages of appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of executive departments of the City of South Bend for calendar year 2026 to increase salaries of certain positions within the Human Rights Commission, Venue, Parks and Arts, and Public Works departments.
Mr. Willis, you again? Okay.
Committee report.
Committee report, I'm sorry.
Bill 3526 was heard in the Personal and Finance meeting this afternoon and was given a favorable recommendation to the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, it's on you, Mr. Willis.
Kyle Willis, City Controller, offices on the second floor. As discussed, we did discuss this in committee. There were several positions or amendments to the salary ordinance that we did discuss in committee today, but happy to answer any additional questions regarding those amendments for those positions.
Do we have back to the council? Any questions? Council members? Questions? At this time, they will go to the public portion. Do we have anyone in the chambers wishing to speak in favor or against Bill 3526?
At this time, I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Against?
At this time, I do not see individuals in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
Let's come back to the council.
You have to close the public.
Oh, close the public hearing. I close the public hearing is now. Now back to the council. No? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to send Bill 3526 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Clerk Toronto, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
At this time, Bill 3526 will go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Clerk Toronto, will you give the substitute Bill 3626 a reading?
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing payments in lieu of taxes for Beacon Apartments Preservation LLC.
Oh, I need to accept the substitute bill first.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So we have a presenter.
Yes.
Oh, I need a committee report. I'm moving too fast.
You're the committee.
Committee report.
Bill 3626 was heard in Personnel and Finance this afternoon and was given a favorable recommendation to the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, there are two different ones.
Okay, now the presenter.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Joe Molnar, Deputy Director for the Department of Community Investment. The office is on the 5th floor of City Hall. This overall presentation is regarding the Beacon Heights Apartments renovation project, which is both substitute bill 30, related bills, substitute bill 36 and 37. I'll present on both of them at this time, if that's all right.
Point of order.
Yeah. So you're going to hear them both at the same time? Can we?
Yes, go
make
ahead,
the
Dr.
motion?
Davis. Make your motion. You making a motion, Dr. Davis?
Yeah, I would like to make them, with all due respect, I'd like to make a motion that we hear both of these bills at the same time.
Second.
And will we be voting on them separately?
And we vote on them
Yes.
separately.
Okay, there we go.
That's
Okay.
good. So we need to take a vote.
I need to,
Do a roll.
I also need to read 3726. So you
That
can
is fine
hear
with
them.
me. I'm at peace.
But a vote.
Okay.
I want to remind everyone that we please slow down the process and let the committee of the whole do their job so we can make sure we get through all of this. So please, everybody just calm down. Thank you. Go ahead.
So Clerk Toronto, will you read 3726 too?
Can you accept the substitute for 3726, please?
Motion
move.
to accept. Second.
All in favor?
All in,
Aye.
Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing a direct loan to the developer of an economic development facility, Beacon Heights project, and approving other matters in connection therewith.
So now I would like to make the motion for both of us to be heard at the same time.
Second.
All in favor?
all in
Aye.
favor?
Okay, motion approved.
Motion, okay.
Thank you. Joe Molnar, Deputy Director for the Department of Community Investment. Office is on 5th floor. We have another exciting affordable housing project to detail before the council today. I do know most of you saw this at committee, so we'll try to move a little quicker, but for the public, still hit the highlights for both of these bills. So the Beacon Heights apartment complex is located on the west side of the city of South Bend, outlined here in blue. It is a housing complex that is made up of multiple different townhome buildings with its own internal street network, parking lots, and community spaces immediately to the south of St. John's Catholic Church, along and with the main entrance along Ardmore Trail. If you see, Lincoln Way is just to the north off the screen there. Beacon Heights is one of the larger affordable housing complexes in the city of South Bend, with the property dating to the mid 1940s. Here are conditions of the property as they are today. The whole complex has approximately 174 housing units and has not seen a significant overhaul since construction. There has been minor repairs and improvements over time, but not a significant overhaul all at once since the 1940s. As you might imagine, the units are in need of a full renovation, but not only just the units, but also the community spaces, including the parking lots, roads, community room, all need a refresh and improvement over their current state. This would not create any new affordable housing, but it would protect and ensure quality affordable housing long-term at the site. So this would be a partnership with L&M Development, which has entered into an agreement to purchase the property. L&M approached the city last year, stating that they were interested in purchasing the property and doing a massive upgrade of the facility. L&M is a national affordable housing developer founded in the 1980s with extensive experience rehabbing existing affordable housing projects. And they've established Beacon Apartments Preservations LLC to hold the property, and that's who the agreements would be with if they were approved today. I would like to note that this is not the current property owner, and if the sale of the property to L&M fell through, this forgivable loan and this pilot would not apply to the existing property owner. The agreements would be null and void. L&M applied for and just got notice that they received last week a 4% low-income housing tax credit through the state of Indiana. This will add IHCDA oversight and eviction protection that is currently not on the property. This will add another layer of inspections that are currently not happening, ensuring that the units, once they are rehabbed, are maintained long-term. And this would also continue to be a federal HUD affiliated property with the same rental income protections that exist on the site now. So after the improvements are made, there would still be no changes to the rents that the individuals are paying today. This is one of 10 low-income housing tax credits that have been awarded to partners with the city of South Bend and the city limits since 2022, listed here. These span the city in 5 of the 6 councilmanic districts, go from infill housing and scattered site to larger scale projects like this, and go from rehab to also new construction. So really trying to hit as many different avenues as we can to make sure that we're building and maintaining quality affordable housing, a combination with local partners and also outside resources. So what would the overall planned redevelopment be? The total project costs are just shy of $50 million to the entire site. First and foremost, that would be a renovation of all of the interiors of every single unit, and the developer can detail more on those ends, but a full reconstruction of all their units with all new appliances and finishes. And also significant exterior improvements, new roofs, new tuck pointing, new siding to make sure that the units will be able to withstand the conditions long-term, as well as new playground for the residents' children, which is currently there is no playground on site, an expanded and upgraded community building, adding a gym, computer room, and library. They would also pave all the internal roads and parking lots as part of the campus. And critically, this would be a renovation in place. So no displacement of existing residents would happen. The renovation would happen in conjunction with the residents and in partnership with them. And as I said, no increase in rent, and the same rental protections that exist on the complex today would exist on it after the renovation. The developer also is proposing to add added security, including more security cameras, as well as a part-time private security patrols, increase the number of property managers over the property, and be able to include social services provided on site. A timeline, if everything is approved and moves forward, there's a projected closing on July 31st, 2026. The city would expend the financing of the loan, the $1.25 million of the loan, at the same time of closing, which would ensure that L&M got property ownership and also the rest of their financing was lined up so that it was a done deal once the city funding was released. In August, L&M would begin ownership and start initial renovations of the complex, and that would go through December of 2027 on our rolling improvements of the units over time. So the details before you on the forgivable loan side, it'd be a 1.25 million forgivable loan. This comes from River West TIF dollars. So these are dollars from the Redevelopment Commission that are set aside specifically for redevelopment properties and projects like this one. That, as I said, dispersed upon closing and guarantee of the project moving forward, and then it would only be forgiven upon documented conclusive proof from the developer that all the improvements were made that they stated they would make, as well as all the improvements to the unit renovations happened. Again, detailing that it's 174. The pilot payment in lieu of taxes would be a 30-year agreement. These, just like the Western Ave Transformation District project, these funds that would be paid by the developer in lieu of taxes would go into a special account that then could only be spent to reinvest back into affordable housing in South Bend, and is just another layer of restrictive commitments from the developer that they'll renovate all the 174 units and keep the same compliant rent standards that HUD has on the property currently. This is another check that the city will be able to make sure as time goes on that they're fulfilling those obligations. So the process steps for both of these bills regarding the pilot, if the council would be favorable and support the bill tonight, that would be the final step, and it would go into place once property ownership transferred over to the new owner. On the forgivable loan, it's a bit longer of a process. The Redevelopment Commission approved a resolution on July 11th that authorized the 1.25 million in River West funds upon full approval by the council. The EDC, the Economic Development Corporation, approved the project report, form of financing, form of funding and reimbursement, and form of common council loan that you're seeing tonight. The Common Council would take action tonight on Substitute Bill 3726. And then finally, it would go back to the Redevelopment Commission one final time for a full development agreement that would memorialize all these steps, and that would be in July. So wrapping up, we know significant investment is needed into the Beacon Heights apartments, but we also want to make sure that when that investment is done, it is done properly. This will leverage, these two programs help leverage city resources to make sure we're getting needed outside funding invested into maintaining currently affordable housing in South Bend, as well as not just improvements to the housing, but into the overall neighborhood that these residents live in. And finally, through the forgivable loan, the pilot, and the low-income housing tax credits, these are all new tools that the city and the state will have to monitor the property conditions at Beacon Heights that currently do not exist, and support an ongoing accountable relationship with the new owner. So there's many more tools now that we will have at our disposal to ensure that these units are being maintained as they should be. Happy to answer any questions that you might have, and representatives from L&M are here as well.
Yes.
Questions?
Question.
My name is Sophie Cohen, and this is Jerome Dunbar. We're at 2 Park Avenue, New York, 10016. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, members of the council, the opportunity to be here this evening. I know that we spoke prior about the project, and I know that you guys had some questions, so want to limit my time since you've heard a lot of what I've had to say, and excited to discuss with you all.
Council members, Heidi, you had.
Yes, thank you for your presentation, Joe. How is the construction going to be monitored? So during the construction, how do we ensure we've got new appliances, nothing sneaky behind the walls, that sort of thing? How do we make sure we've got a quality project?
Sure, and I'll let L&M speak to their building standards as well. So these will have to go through the entire building permit process with the city of South Bend still. So just because it's a city-supported project doesn't mean that they get a fast track around any building permits. So inspections would still have to be called for every single unit, roofing permits and stuff to be pulled. So the entire construction process still would need full building department review of the permit of the plans, and then finally of the finished project, and just like every other site, even though it's a city-supported project, the building department doesn't look at that at all. They're still making sure that, as you said, nothing sneaky is happening, that they're putting back what they're claiming to do.
Good. I want to make sure that we're building quality housing for our folks here in South Bend. The second question that I have is, you mentioned in the presentation that there's going to be a computer room and a library. There is a library, St. Joseph County Library, that is less than 2 blocks away. I'd like to recommend, in lieu of building a new library and a new computer room, which are already there at the library, that you consider putting in a daycare center. Because we know, I mean, from every needs assessment in this town, our community health needs assessment, daycare comes up over, and affordable daycare center comes up over and over again. That would be a real asset to a new development such as this.
Yeah, we can certainly look into that. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have a question. Council President Lee?
Thank you for your presentation. As you all know, this is transformational. What we voted on for Western Avenue, 60 million. This is another 50 million. It's $110 million of affordable housing coming to South Bend. So this is a big, big deal. Beacon Heights is a very special place in my heart. Doing the work that I did with GVI, we connected with a lot of families. I know that you guys are going to have part-time security, but safety and making sure that people who are supposed to be there don't get to be there is very important. How do you plan to really address that seriously?
We spoke to the residents earlier today, and one of the things they definitely mentioned was security. One of the things that we will explore again, I'm sure, is they mentioned that if you drive into it, there's the cement block. There was a gate there, and they feel that if we can put the property could be a little bit more restricted, that would help. They also talked about their mail, having the mail, their drop boxes. So we are listening to the residents, and we think that's one of the biggest things is engagement and listening to the residents and them letting us know what they need. And they certainly mentioned security.
Yeah, well, that's one of the biggest issues, I would say, that you got to figure that out, because again, when people feel like they can do anything lawless there, they will. And we don't want you guys to invest this money and then it continues to be a problem. The other thing is this, 10 years, the first 10 years, again, that's $22,000 in taxes. 11 to 20, it becomes 712,000. 21 to 30 is 1,059,000. So altogether, it's like $1.9 million for 30 years. What do we do after 10 years? What happens at 10 years when it's time to go to that next level?
And those were negotiated numbers with the developer to make sure that they had commitment on what they had to pay in taxes prior, during construction, make sure that they're getting up and running, get their financing secured, knowing they have that amount identified for 30 years, a commitment that this is what their taxes are going to be, not going to be less, not going to be more. That gives great benefits to the financiers. So from year 10 to 11, it'll happen automatically. So it's outlined in the ordinance. If the council would approve it this way, is from year 10 to 11, it jumps to 70,000. That is approximately what they're paying and what the site's paying in taxes today. But then it consistently keeps it at a 3% inflation growth. So that's still consistency for the developer.
And one of the things that we were doing some research before this meeting tonight, L&M is a $20 billion development with over 57,000 high quality residential units in construction. They were ranked number 3 in affordable housing, top 50 affordable housing owners in 2025, Number 5 in top 10 companies completing substantial rehabs, and number 17 in top 50 developers. With all of that, I'm sure you've had some issues where things didn't come, and I'm sure as we look in the internet, there's things that have happened. And how have you guys addressed those issues?
Well, it's life, and it's everything that we do is a work in progress and a learning tool. For example, when you work on the PACs, the Permanent Affordability Commitment Together projects, each phase you learn something and you improve at it. I think part of our biggest success is we're responsive. We listen to the residents. We don't call them tenants. I had to explain to them today. You're not tenants. Tenants are occupy, commercial tenants. Residents, they reside, they live there. You have a home. And so in explaining that, we as we go along, we understand that it's everything's a learning curve. So for example, with the PACs, if every PAC we get better, and we make sure that we get stronger with our community engagement. And mainly the biggest thing is looking to empower the residents. When you empower your residents, you correct things. We've already been on the ground listening to the residents here. They talked about the gate. They talked about the packages being missing. They talked about the children not having a place to play. They talked about the surface. We put a soft surface in. They talked about the roads and the getting flat tires because the roads are so bad there. And so the thing we're trying to do is listen, and that's the biggest thing. And that empowers your residents and it makes you better. So we've become better, because my biggest opinion, because we listen. And we have layers and layers of listening that we answer to.
Councilman Davis?
Yes, this is for Mr. Monar. You said that the LMM Development Partners came to you last year, and when you were doing your due diligence and checking them out and studying them, when you came across this document of from the Mandelbaum Barrett attorneys at law, and they said holding developers accountable, court finds LMM liable for breach of contract. And they read, "We are proud to share a significant legal victory in a case involving serious construction and design defects at Harlem condominium development. LMM Developers Partners, a prominent builder of affordable condominiums in minority communities, marketed the property as luxurious conversion project. However, after closing, the residents discovered a host of issues that compromised both the safety and integrity of the building. These included cracked masonry, deteriorating terracotta, unventilated mechanical rooms, interior leaks, sky failures, and other defects that deviated significantly from the representation made in the offering plan and related documents. On March 20th, just a year ago, March 20th, 2025, the New York County Supreme Court Commercial Division issued a decision finding that LMN breached its contractual obligations. The court granted summary judgment on liability, holding an LMM and affiliates responsible for delivering a building that failed to comply with the offering plan, applicable laws, and agreed upon specifications. This matter is now being sent to determine the extent of damages. And when you Google them up, as I sent to you all, you find a history of challenges that have come from various places, including issues regarding their owners and how they did business. And LMN was fined in $25,000 in New York authorities to settle allegations of unregistered lobbying. And so the developers' close ties to government officials have drawn criticism regarding fairness and transparency in public contracts. And looking at the foreclosure disputes, I have no doubt that Beacon Heights needs help. I'm the school social worker. I've been there for the last 12 years. And these are my students. They come, I worked at Coquilla, then worked at Dickinson. In your comments earlier, you mentioned the school that's a charter school across the street, but you failed to mention that you had any meetings with the public school. And that's a great concern of mine because that's a different ballgame. And these students, I see them every day in my work. I've seen them, I've been to their houses, I've been to their homes, I've sat in their snow, rain. I've been there for the last 12 years of my life. And I've gone inside of this. And when I got a word of this, first of all, when I saw the mayor and President Lee on the news about this, I got excited. And I was jumping up and down because finally they getting some help. And then residents started sending me this information about your background. And I got concerned. I'm like, wow, we need help. And I wish that when you made your presentation today, you would have acknowledged this is such a recent issue. This is 2025. This is not 20, we've been talking about residential issues that happened in the city in 1940, 1950, and all that stuff. Many of us weren't born. I was born here during this time, and I was working here during this time. So, Mr. Monar, when you did your research and you saw this, what was your concerns? And secondly, what processes has our city put in place for this not to happen again? Because, and then I want to even hear from the developers. They just said that they learned. And I want to know what have they learned from this case, because they did not mention that. And I needed to hear that. Mr. Mona first, and then the representatives from LMM, I would appreciate, because I'm just reading, this is straight off the attorney's fee. And you Google it up, you can see it, but it's straight there. I'm sure you are aware of it. You've seen it before. And so how can I promote all this taxpayer money for their background history that has had concerning, and several other neighborhoods and councils have had concerns about this and held back in even funding this, even with what Councilman President said about their help. How do you know that this is not going to happen in South Bend, and what have we put in place to guard ourselves against this? Because they just recently violated it.
Yeah, I'll have O&M speak to that specific case. I do know, I think it dates from 2010, is the construction.
I can't hear you. Can you speak up?
They can speak to that specific case. On, the city's due diligence, L&M approached the city of South Bend with the intention of trying to do a really transformational project at Beacon Heights. As you said, Dr. Davis, this is a complex that needs a lot of investment. And when they were able to come and show a proof of record that they do, renovations of this scale, that was encouraging, but we don't take people's word for it. We did look into them. We addressed some of those issues with L&M. And we also were given a list of cities that they've worked with, or towns, and we were able to reach out to some of them and have good conversations about projects that went well. And so I would leave that. But also, we're not in the business of taking someone's word. A lot of these agreements have guarantees in place that work will be done and will be done well. For example, the forgivable loan statute, it will only be forgiven, and so it would have to be paid back. It would only be forgiven if they documented proof of all the investments that they are outlining here today. So at the end of the project, when they ask for the forgiveness of the loan to come off their books, we will go make sure that all the invoices that are turned in for their contractors match up to the spending that they stated that they would do, that there is a playground on the site, that they did expand the community center, that they did repave the roads, that they did do the parking lots. So that's one tool that the forgivable loan allows us to do, is that it's not actually forgiven until they prove that they do the improvements that they state. If they don't do those improvements, then we certainly won't forgive the loan. And that's part of the loan language, is that, we have discretion in that. Now, if they make the improvements, then we will forgive the loan. The pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes as well, if say by year 7, we are getting, lots of calls from residents saying, hey, they did this renovation, but now everything doesn't work again, or my roof's leaking again. And that allows us to then revisit that pilot and say, well, maybe we'll rescind the pilot if you're not leaving, you clearly didn't actually live up to the standards of that agreement. So that's another check the city would be able to have on ensuring that the property is maintained well. And finally, what's not there now is this, again, is going to become a low income tax credit project, which has another level of investigation onto the site that currently doesn't exist because it's not a LIHTC project today. And that is investigations routinely by the state of Indiana, making sure that those improvements were made and that that they're continuing to maintain at those certain standards. So certainly we've had good dialogue with L&M about making sure that the project is done well, but then we've written the agreements in a way and presenting them to council in a way that if they don't live up to their word and to their requirements, then the city also has, recompenses to be able to do something about that.
Okay, thank you. When you said that, did you find this out before somebody sent this to you, or how did you become aware of that?
That specific one I did see online when we did our own searching, yes.
Pardon me?
Yes, I saw that.
And when you saw it online, what were your conversations when you addressed it with them?
Well, the first thing I did is send it to our attorney, our attorney's office, to make sure. They did caution me. They said that is an attorney's website portraying something a certain way. That wasn't.
I understand.
from the
I know.
court.
I have it in different ways. Go ahead.
And so, we did our due diligence. I reached out to Sophie and discussed that specific issue with her. We saw all those things that President Lee just said as well, that the company has rated highly in multiple different categories over time. Frankly, they have 57,000 units. So, I'm not going to say that every single one of their projects has always gone well, but that's why we wanted to make sure that in our 3 different layers of agreements that we're creating with them, the LIHTC agreement with the state of Indiana, our pilot, and our forgivable loan, we have protections that make sure that our money is being spent well and that they're living up to their obligations.
And real quick, and that is, you said that you called out to other cities and they gave you some good references. Can you name those cities, and did they send you any documentation that you could share with the council? And then number 2, when you had concerns with the attorney, that you reach out to the attorney, did your city attorney reach out to Bob Palmer, our attorney? So when this came to us, he would have been aware of everything else. So we had any questions, we could look at him. Did their attorney, your city attorney, reach out to our attorneys to explain this? So we would have already been aware of it, number 1. And number 2, do you have the letters that you can send to us from the cities? What are the cities that you reached out to? And did they give you reference letters, their names? Because typically when you give a reference, you have, like, I just did a reference for earlier today, and I have my name, contact information. So can we have access to those records of the references that you didn't know the cities? And did your attorney reach out to our attorney so that our attorney can be versed in this conversation, given the nature of this litigious issue that just happened?
Sure. No, on the other cities and housing authorities, those were phone calls. So I will admit there, I don't have any documentation of that. L&M provided a list of the projects they've been working on, and I just picked up the phone and called people. So I don't have any documentation for that.
Any name of those cities you called?
I can get the information to you, Dr. Davis, that they provided to us.
I appreciate that. I'd like to know the name of the
It was
cities.
a couple months ago.
This is a lot of money, and we got to know the name of these cities.
I'd like for Dr. Davis, for any more questions, I'd like for the presenters to speak, please.
Thank you. And Dr. Davis, I'm definitely going to get your contact information because I'd like to send you a few.
Oh, it's listed. It's in the same thing.
Great. About PS90, which was, and Jerome was here way before I was, but PS90 was completed in 2010. And that's the project that you're referencing on the attorney's website. It was an adaptive reuse project that transformed a long vacant century-old public school in Harlem into a mixed income development with affordable and market rate apartments, amenities, common spaces. Concerns raised in the complaint have long been addressed. And the judgment entered into February 2026, which is why that article was so recent, and all claims have been resolved and dropped.
And could we have your attorney to reach out to our attorney so that our attorneys can be versed? If you haven't, I know you may have done that to the council and to the city, but I would really appreciate a letter from your attorney or to our attorney, Bob Palmer, to confirm everything, because you all are attorneys, but there is something about another attorney's letter to another attorney sharing that. And I would really wish that before we would vote on this tonight, I would love to have a letter. I would love to support this, okay? But it's hard for me to support this. I appreciate your presentation, but it's hard for me to support this without having a letter from your attorney to our attorney, Bob Palmer, and he can just say, hey, y'all, council, you have the green light. Because right now we have a yellow light, in my personal opinion, and I couldn't support that. But I could definitely support it when your attorney would reach out to our attorney, send it, he can make that public to all of us, and then we can move forward. And so this case is here, will be cleared up. I'm gonna, just a simple letter from your attorney to our attorney, would help me feel much better in giving this kind of money to this, which I want to do because these are my kids that I go back to school in August to help.
Councilman Davis, can you please let me see if any other council members would like to have something to
please.
say?
I've already requested everything.
We're down here.
Thank you, Dr. Davis.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to listen.
To the presenters, we have other council members that would like to have some questions to, who's,
Go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead.
okay.
Thank you all. President Lee and I were at the press conference, and you shared some information there that I thought was really helpful. I had never experienced a construction in place before, or heard of any company being able to do that, and was quite impressed by it. In this renovation, no family will be displaced. Can you just go into detail about what that process looks like?
Yes, I'll be happy to. Let me first say thank you to the Honorable Dr. Davis, because men like you definitely I've worked for and have been a mentor to me, and I much appreciate you. The renovations are special when they have in-place renovations, and primarily because what happens with residents are they have a huge distrust. They don't trust you. They don't trust that they're going to be able to move back into their home when you move them off site. But when you do the renovations in place, and let's say we have to move someone out of their home completely, we may have to renovate the vacants prior to putting the residents in. So they would go into a vacant that has been upgraded, and then we would renovate their home. That moving is almost traumatic for some folks. Some folks haven't moved in 20, 30, 40, or even 50 years. And so it's traumatic in and of itself, the move and having to pick up and move all their things. But when they move and it's on the campus, it helps us begin to build trust. It helps them to begin to repair. So it's very, very important.
Yes, and it's a really quick turnaround too. Can you say something about that?
Yes, definitely. So first of all, we hire a relocation coordinator. We know our shortcomings and we know that we can't, do everything at once. So having someone specifically dedicated to making sure every single resident is every single resident. Every single resident's unique case and underlying circumstances need to be heard and met appropriately. And through this relocation coordinator, that is what happened. So for 10 days, residents will be asked to leave their unit from the hours of 9 to 5. They'll be given food, TV, Wi-Fi, which will be available in the current community room space. And at the end of every day, they'll have access to running water. Again, we're not asking residents to take the burden on moving on their own. We hire both a relocation coordinator who has a ton of experience in projects like these, in addition to movers, boxing, packing. So no resident is left to do this on their own. We have support all along the way.
That's just incredible and impressive. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nugowski.
Thank you. Yeah, as far as the contractors that you use for the rehabilitation, I think the number you used was $100,000 approximately per unit. I did kind of do some checking, and it looks like you do use what's called a vendor pre-qualification process, where looks like you prioritize hiring for WBEs, WMBEs. If you can just talk about that, and if any of those contractors may be something you reach out locally to find for your pre-qualifications and during your bidding evaluation process.
Yeah, so the contractor that we're going to be working with here, that we work with on a lot of our ACC rehabs, who I should say does not do any new construction, their expertise is in these rehabilitations in place. They have a ton of strategies to achieve local hiring goals. So placing advertisements in both a local newspaper publication, as well as posting them in and near the job site location. They host a local job fair. They ensure the posting is available in multiple languages. They also will host relevant training sessions to induce community involvement, and give, both incoming workers, in addition to residency, obtain the ability to obtain their OSHA 10 or 30 certification. So they have a ton of experience, coming into new areas and working, as best as they can to hire locally.
Okay, thank you.
Votes, Councilwoman Simpson.
Thank you. A point that I want to make, that reason why I am just a little nervous. We have we've had some bad experiences. This Beacon Heights was mentioned in our repertory report of redlining, not allowing blacks to be there. So this is a very sensitive matter. I want to urge you, you must get in touch with South Bend Community School Corporation. That's the whole thing. There are many children there that attend the South Bend Community School, because I'm not telling you not get in touch with anyone else, but they cannot be left out. And then just to reiterate that, and then I just do want to ask, what about, how do you ensure that union workers, do you have any oversight of that are used in these projects? The painters or the carpenters, are they local?
We'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, I want to encourage you to.
Jeff Molis, L&M Development, 2 Park Avenue.
Can't hear you, sir.
Jeff Molis, L&M Development, 2 Park Avenue. I happen to be one of the partners of L&M. And on your question specific to the unions, we always invite union contractors to bid on these projects, so they will be invited. As part of the outreach in general from the contractor, we will certainly reach out to them. And, I would say historically, we have found that most union contractors don't like in-place acquisition rehabs, but we always reach out to them and try to, fit them in where we can.
The responsive bidder?
Sorry?
Responsive bidder?
Responsive bidder?
Making sure that they, not just the lowest bid, but are able to do what needs to be done, because we don't want to find ourselves in a situation where it's a low bid and then you get what you pay for.
100%. So the qualifications is not simply the lowest price. It's the ability to do the work. And as long as I have the podium for a second, if I can address Dr. Davis, you have every right to ask us about PS 90, but we have done hundreds of projects. So to find one is I think actually pretty good for our track record.
I didn't just find one, sir.
No, I guess if you Google, you'll find probably a half a dozen negative articles about us. But that's the price of being in business for 40 years, especially being a landlord. The joke around town is developers. The name developer used to be respected. Now I feel like it's almost a 4-letter word sometimes. But we pride ourselves on being responsible for housing developers and owners. We hold on to our properties for 15, 17 years. So it's much better for us to spend money now to make sure the buildings are in good repair than have to pay for them later. And I will say this will come off as a bit trite and flip, but as a New York City developer, it's a rite of passage to get sued by your condo board. I would say virtually every developer, sponsor, contractor who's built a condominium in New York has probably been sued. And this was a complicated one. This involved a 100-year-old building that had been abandoned forever. The amount of work we had to put in to fix just the basic building was enormous. It was historic. We brought in the National Dance Institute, NDI's headquarters. It's a project that's applauded in New York. And we had a board, the condo, that felt like some of the work wasn't up to standard, and took some litigation and us having to go back to our contractors to straighten it out. And it took a long time, but it's been resolved, and the fine in the whole scheme of things was not a lot of money. So, we did right by them, and we're still involved in it.
With all due respect, Ms. Chair, since he referred to my name, I would just like to just share that, yes, we did do our due diligence, and I appreciate your comments. I understand licensing, I've been around with that, but when somebody has, as Councilwoman Sherry Bowden Simpson, this is not just cherry picking as a person in administration just sent me a note. This is not just cherry picking. It's when you have dealt with an area that has been totally promised issues and different things over the years and haven't come through. And persons come through, especially from out of town or developers, okay, that we have never heard of for in our life. And to just have the, well, we just get sued all the time attitude is not something that I really appreciate, because I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Indiana and in Minnesota. And if I got sued different places and I had to do contracts, which I do on private and many other places, if I just told the boy, I just get sued all the time, so don't worry about it. When I take care of people's health and their mental health and their families, that would be something that they would totally have barred me from practicing in their area. So as a professional health provider who's a first responder to those kind of issues, I take that as an insult. So therefore, I would really like you to understand the population that you're dealing with, and they have been hurt. And that's why we had to do an apology for another one. And this is something very serious. So I don't appreciate, nor do I tolerate those kind of things when you're dealing with people and who have been totally vulnerable. And I see them every day when I've helped them to go and buy clothes and food and everything else for them over the last 12 years. And we've worked over there every day. Okay, so to say that I'm just in New York coming here, we're a small town that doesn't like to have that for big time developers coming here. And I hope that's not your attitude going future.
Chair? Councilwoman McBride.
Thank you. And thank you for the comment. I want to say thank you for your presentation and your investment into our community. My mom lived probably about 2 blocks away from the development. And like the conversation when administration reached out to me and me looking into the agency, and was curious of what made you decide to pick us. But I was glad that you did, because not only the work from like the Housing Authority, but coming over to Beacon Heights that have been blighted for a long time. So to have someone to come in to have an investment and to work with the city and making sure that we are enforcing and ensuring that everything will be up to par, I welcome you guys coming to South Bend, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
To the presenter, I would like to say too that I would like to see that the Joe, that the city and the attorneys work well with this, because you know what we have already going on with Carl King and all the places that we have around here. So I do welcome you to come here, and I ask you to do due diligence by the people that you're supplying and getting ready to take care of, because it's been a long time since anything has been done over there. So we're looking forward to you doing what you say you're going to do, because Joe and the city attorney is going to make sure that you're held accountable. And I would like to know, I heard you say earlier that you had met with the residents. I would like for you to have another meeting, and it would be a Saturday or a Sunday, so that if any residents were working while you were having this meeting, they also have the opportunity to come and ask questions. And at that time, is anybody else? Anybody else? Okay.
If I may, Chair.
Yes.
I just want to say, I love Dr. Davis, because what he's saying is what we were raised on. And I have to just say that today, you know, I being with the families and being with especially the young people there, and by young people, I don't mean just the babies,
I know.
but the young people who are the moms and the dads of the babies, committed. And not only did I do that, made sure they had my number. I get calls from residents at 2 a.m. And when I get a call at 2 a.m, it's an emergency. I got a call at 2 a.m. And I answered on the first ring. And the resident who had an emergency said, "Did you just answer the phone on the first ring?" She said, "Really?" So what I'm saying is, it is a privilege. It's an honor to be here, and we are here, and speaking with our folks today on the ground there and listening to them. I promised them we will come back. We will make sure that we are listening, but we need to hear from you, the residents. The last thing I'll say is, this is what it's all about. This is a team, and the elected officials, as Jeff Molis just said, they all the time got their foot on our butts, but that's a part of the team, and you're a part of the team, and what you say is utmost important, and it is taken very seriously, and we are looking forward to fulfilling what you said about the hands that we held today with the 4-year-olds, with the moms of the 4-year-olds. That's important.
I appreciate what you just
Thank
said.
you.
And I thank you. And you two have really been encouraging for me. But it is literally a little concerning that at the top level, there was a kind of, that really concerned me.
Dr. Davis, it's getting kind of late. We got some more.
It's never late when we're fighting for the people. It's never late when we're dealing with money. It's
No,
never late
no,
when you're dealing with the kids that I've dealt with. I've been at those houses early in the morning and late at night, so it's never late.
It's thank you.
If I
Now
stayed
we're
at
gonna
12
come,
o'clock,
we're gonna
what would you
open
do?
up the public. We're gonna open up the public hearing for anyone that's wishing to speak in favor or against.
This is your deal. Late. Really?
If there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of Bill 3626 or 3726, please come to the podium. If you are wishing to speak in favor online, please state your name and address in the chat, and then we will give you access. I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition in person? If you are wishing to speak in opposition in person, please come to the podium and state your name and address at this time.
Hey, my name is Mark Canella, 1010 Quimby Street. I am opposed to this because a simple Google search will pull up a whole slew of Reddit complaints about L&M management in New York.
Thank you for your comment.
Hello, my name is An Tran, and I am a student at IUSB. I live at 704 West Shore Drive in Osceola. And I just wanted to just talk about how like LLM developers, there's been some results that talk about how like in New York, which is where they're from, they talk about issues with like safety, rodents, squatters, and even like poor maintenance. So if these developers from New York are having issues even in their home city, then if they're coming here, should we really trust them to be responsible for South Bend as a whole in terms of developing the neighborhood? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Back to the public hearing.
I have two individuals online wishing to speak in opposition. Mr. Jordan Geiger, please unmute yourself and turn your camera on and state your name and address for the record. Jordan, please unmute yourself.
You can hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not speaking in opposition. I don't know why you assume that, but my name is Jordan Geiger, 302 South Falcon Street. I'm actually speaking in favor of this while also recognizing that there are serious concerns with the history of the developer. But I do have family who lives there, an infant cousin who's living in the conditions, and I've canvassed out there over the years. I've seen the conditions of some of the property, some of the units, and I think the city absolutely should support this effort. I just would like just one clarifying question is about how does the city engage with each council member to give each member access to ask questions of the developer before this comes before the full council, because it seems like some council members are privy to information and we're able to speak with the developers, and others are just now like finding out things by way of a Google search, right? So I'm wondering if Joe Monar can speak to, how council members have been informed about this project and given space to ask questions prior to it coming to the full council and committee.
I can
Did
say
Joe
that
leave?
I attend redevelopment commission meetings, and I try to get information as much as I can.
Real quick, Joe Molnar, Deputy Director of Tarrant Community Investment. That's a great question. So because this project with L&M has gone through multiple steps, we reach out to the individuals as they happen. So there's two council members who serve on the redevelopment commission who saw it first, Councilmember Philligan Rogers and Councilmember Karen White. I always reach out to the redevelopment commission members when it comes to them. I'm primary staff to the RDC. And then we would also reach out to, we also try to reach out to the district member, which in this case is also, I believe, Councilmember Ophelia Gunn Rogers. I believe it's two. If it's
I'll also encourage you to reach out to that large because we cover the whole city and we are everybody's district.
happy to do so.
Thank you, sir.
We have one more individual online wishing to speak. Ms. Kat Redding, please unmute yourself and turn your camera on upon given access and state your name and address. We're unable to see your camera, and please unmute yourself.
Did she get kicked out? Probably so. She's gone.
If she logs back in, we'll make sure that she gets time to speak.
She's still there?
She's still there?
Okay, got some volume. You guys can hear me. I'm just trying to get my camera on now. It's not optional at this point. I just have the mic and I can get this camera on. Yeah, my camera it's not an option right now. I don't think it's an option. I've hit the camera button, but it's not turning on. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay. Okay. Am I on it? Okay. Thank you. I'm not sure. I think we passed by because I'm not speaking in opposition. I'm actually speaking in favor. But I actually want to echo what was said by Oliver Davis. I think it is very disrespectful to come in the council chambers to say that, you'll probably find a dozen of bad reviews and things like that. So I think that having those checkpoints, because this project is going to continue on until 2027, I do believe. And I think that we should make sure that we're having incremental steps if we move forward with L&M, that we're having quarterlies or even before that, like I think that maybe every 3 to 6 months there should be a checklist just because of the reviews that I did read over do seem pretty predatorial. And I think that L&M should know, the history of these areas that are being addressed before moving forward, so that they understand the careful consideration that needs to go into the development, the redevelopment, shall I say, of Beacon Heights. So that's pretty much all that I had. So thank you.
A lawyer and a lawyer could come up with better language, but if you wanted to approve, one or both of the bills subject to, quarterly inspections by the city's RSVP team as they're going through renovations, I think that's something that, the city administration would be happy to support at this time. And then we could even provide those reports back to council as they happen.
That I also just, in addition to that, which I fully support, as well, is that the IHCDA, who's issuing us, the bonds and associated tax credits, they have a very detailed QAP of all the items that we had to agree to, right? Those are listed out in our drawings. Prior to us being able to get the last round of funding at the end of the project, they come onto the property and they have a very strict checklist, and they come and look at it and make sure that they've visually inspected. They send out an inspector and visually inspect it to make sure that we've met all the requirements. So in addition to, I think that's a great idea. I just wanted to also just mention that as well, that there are additional protections in place.
Before I entertain a motion, I would like to say too, you see, this council is very concerned because we are having some problems. And so what we're concerned about is the people. We want to make sure that the people are getting what we know they should be getting out of this. So with that being in mind, I'd like to close the public portion, and I'd like to entertain a motion.
We were still,
Well, that's, should the motion include that question? Should that motion include that there will be quarterly? I did want to answer from the attorney.
I'll make a motion.
Attorney-
I'll make a motion that we.
Attorney Palmer, can you please help us over here?
I want to make sure it happens.
Obviously, the council can insert whatever language they want into the ordinance.
Okay.
So, however, I think you have to be very careful and make it very specific as to the information you want. My suggestion as an attorney would be to have them come back on a quarterly or 6-month basis, give a report to the council, and let the residents come and tell you what they think is going on.
I love your suggestion, and I would like to make,
Can I
follow
please
the
ask,
motion.
do you mind if I ask a question
go ahead.
first to the attorney?
Am I-
So should we do this motion tonight? Make this motion of coming back and with the residents now, or?
You can make the motion subject to amending it by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to include coming back and visiting with the council on you just have to agree on what language you want.
I like the language that you were sharing right there. The only thing that I would love to add, and what I had already previously stated, I would love for you to, I like the quarterly thing. I think that's great. I just want one more last thing, and that is a letter from their attorney to you. That's all I need. And with that, I think if we can send a letter with their attorney and then do the way you said it the first time. You remember how you said it the first time? I moved whatever you said the first time. Because you said it really nice. So whatever, council, did you hear what he said the first time?
I think we just need to make a motion and go ahead and move forward.
And
And
move.
then with the understanding of knowing that they will come back and give us updates.
I wanted an emotion. I made a motion for
Is there
that.
an
I,
emotion?
I move to second that motion.
But now
presently.
I already had a motion on the floor, y'all, with all due respect.
Well, let's go back. Let's stop. Everybody just stop. Let's stop.
I know,
Dr.
but
Davis, what is your motion, please?
my motion was to use the very first language of what our attorney said in terms of them coming back on that was a quarterly basis to get
Quarterly or 6 months.
quarterly. I can take the 6 months. I go further. Okay, quarterly or 6 months. We could put an even or, but let's go with 6 months to come back to the council to give a report. The only thing I also added in that was to make sure they had the attorney, and they agreed.
I'd second that motion.
Thank you for seconding it.
Can we read the motion back
Yes,
for clarification?
yes. So, sorry, we have the caption, so we're gonna read exactly what
Got
the
you.
caption
I'm a
says.
piece.
So let us just be very clear on our end so that we do this right.
Your time.
Okay, so quote, can you scoot that down? Okay. So we're quoting Attorney Bob Palmer. My suggestion as an attorney would be to have them come back on a quarterly or or every 6 months, give a report to the council and let the residents come and tell you what they think is going on.
And the only thing I added to that was just the letter which they agreed to from the
Yes.
attorney.
So
That's
as
it.
we move forward, can you find that part? And then the
Mhm.
next quote from Dr. Davis is having their attorneys send a letter. I'm going to quote you, Dr. Davis.
That's fine.
I just want one more last thing, and that is a letter from their attorney to Attorney Bob Palmer, stating that they're
Just
clear.
giving a summary of their
Yeah.
situation.
Yes.
That's all.
Dr. Davis, to clarify, do you want that last part of the amendment to the
Yes, sir.
proposed ordinance?
Thank you for helping us. I really appreciate it tonight.
And I want to clarify that second motion for the 6 months. I think that we agreed on 6 months, Dr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I second that
Thank
motion.
you.
Okay.
Are we clear?
Yes, we're clear.
No, could you read it one more time? I want to make sure I understand exactly what the motion says.
Yes. So would you like me to do that in quotes?
I just want to know what exactly does the motion
Yes.
say that I'm voting on?
Okay, so this is my interpretation.
Thank you.
And you let me know if how
Well,
what
it's going to
this
be
is.
what's
Yes.
putting in the record, so we have
Right.
to make sure
Yes.
it's clear. So I just want to
So-
make sure it's clear.
the recommendation is that they come back quarterly every 6 months with residents and provide an update to you all.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
It's
Every 6 months, they will come back, provide an update and bring residents with them.
Right.
So that you hear both sides.
Mhm.
Along with that recommendation is that their attorney will provide Attorney Bob Palmer with a letter of clearance.
Yes.
That's it.
And that would come with a favorable recommendation to the full council upon those
Yes,
recommendations. Okay. 'Cause
that
this
is
was only
correct.
Committee of the whole.
During the committee of the whole.
That motion would be favorable recommendation. So Dr. Davis, if you could state a favorable recommendation with those conditions so we can. move
Favorable
forward
recommendation for that. Yes.
To go
Yes,
to the
I'm
full
favorable
council.
for that. I'm at
Thank you.
peace with
That's
that.
what I was getting at. I
So I
didn't
would
hear.
second that
Okay,
favorable
I'm sorry. No, that's a favorable, I got what you're getting with. I'm at peace now.
So can I do this one more time?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Thank
I
you.
have a favorable recommendation on the floor with the motion from Dr. Davis and a second from Councilmember McBride on the conditions that they come back every 6 months with a report and they bring the residents with them so you can hear both sides. Along with that is a letter from their attorney to Attorney Bob Palmer stating clearance.
Correct.
Am I correct?
That's it.
Yes.
You,
Okay.
excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are we ready for a roll call for both
Yeah.
of the bills?
Thank you,
Yes.
Clerk Toronto.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lord have mercy.
I don't know where my pen is. Oh, I got it. Thank you. So we are now going to do the roll for 3626. Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
I have 8 ayes for 3626.
3626 will move to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Yes.
Whew.
I'd like to make
Okay,
a
one more
motion.
roll.
I'd like to make the
36.
same motion that replies to the next bill too.
Yes. So 3726
That is correct. I'd like to make the same motion for that same bill since it's involving the same group
with the favorable
with a
recommendation.
favorable recommendation.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
I have 8 ayes.
Bill 3726 shall move to the full council with a favorable recommendation. And now I'd like to entertain a motion to rise from the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second. Did I say all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gooden Rogers. This is her first time, everybody, so
Very good job. You did good.
ain't easy. I did it committee of the whole. It's not easy. All right. Bills on third reading. The full council is now back in session, and this is the portion of our meeting where bills are given a third reading and actions taken regarding bills that were heard during the committee of the whole. Clerk Toronto, would you please give Bill 2926 a third reading?
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 4101 South Main Street and 4115 South Main Street, Councilmanic District Number 5 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Is there a committee report from the committee of the whole?
This bill comes with a favorable recommendation.
All right. I will now.
Move for passage.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a passage. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
No,
we
take
have
a
a
roll
roll
call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, please. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Just let me take care of that. Okay.
All right.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
2926. Let's pass. Clerk Toronto, please give 3126 a third reading.
Substitute.
Oh, substitute bill 3126 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing payments in lieu of taxes for Western Avenue LLC.
Is there a report from the Committee of the Whole?
3126 come to the council, the full council with a favorable recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
So
Move for
moved
pass.
for
Second.
passage.
All right, Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
I have 8 ayes.
3126 is passed. Clerk Toronto, please give 32-26 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for property located at Coal Line Trail, 1241 Riverside, parcel ID number 018-1094-3937, Councilmanic District numbers 1, 2, and 4 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Councilwoman Gooden Rogers, is there a committee report?
3226 comes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
Move for passage.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
32-26 has been adopted. Please give 33-26 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city services operations for the year 2026 of $32,358 from the General Fund Number 101, $75,410 from Parks and Recreation Fund Number 201, $70,000 from the Motor Vehicles Highway Fund Number 202, $360,000 from the Community Investment Operating Fund Number 211, $7,034,537 from the Community Investments Grants Fund Number 212, $767,550 from the Gift Donation Bequest Fund Number 217, $37,000 from the Unsafe Building Fund Number 219, $100,000 from the Loss Recovery Fund Number 227, $122,500 from the Code Enforcement Fund Number 230, $1 million from the Local Roads and Street Fund Number 251, $79,443 from the IT Innovation 311 Call Center Fund Number 279, $80,000 from the Indiana River Rescue Fund Number 291, $1.6 million from the Local Income Tax Economic Development Fund Number 408, $255,000 from the Waterworks Operations Fund Number 620, $994,620 from the Waterworks Capital Fund Number 622, $420,000 from the Sewage Works Operations Fund Number 641.
All right. Counselor Gooden Rogers, is there a report?
Yes, 3326 come to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
Move for
Move
passage.
to passage.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right. 3626 has been adopted. 3326 has been adopted.
Yeah, 33.
Yeah, 3326, yeah. Clerk Toronto, please give 3426 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana for budget transfers for various departments within the City of South Bend, Indiana for the year 2026.
Counselor Gooden Rogers, is there a report?
Yes, 3426 come to the, is that right?
Mhm.
3426 come to the council with a favorable recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
Move for passage.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
3426 has been adopted. Clerk Toronto, please give 3526 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending ordinance number 11233-25, which fixes maximum salaries and wages of appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of executive departments of the City of South Bend for calendar year 2026 to increase salaries of certain positions within the Human Rights Commission, Venue Parks and Arts, and Public Works Departments.
All right, I will now entertain a motion.
Move to passage.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
3526 has been adopted. Clerk Toronto, please give 3626 a third reading. Substitute 3626 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing payments in lieu of taxes for Beacon Apartments Preservation, LLC.
Counselor Gooden
36.
Rogers,
26 come to the council with a favorable recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Substitute Bill 36-26 has been adopted. Clerk Toronto, please give substitute 3726 a third reading.
Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing a direct loan to the developer of an economic development facility, Beacon Heights Project, and approving other matters in connection therewith.
Now, Counselor Gooden Rogers, is there a report?
Yes, substitute 3726 come to the council with a full recommendation.
I will now entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Substitute 3726 has been adopted. Resolutions. This is the portion of the council's meeting where the common council hears bills filed as proposed resolutions. The title of each proposed resolution is read by the city clerk. A report from the committee chairperson of the standing committee to which the bill was referred to and for an advisory review, and the recommendation is then given. During the public portion of each proposed resolution, members of the public are invited to address the council. We ask that you please give your name, address, and comments on the bill. If you have any questions, they will be addressed by the presenter during the rebuttal. Each member of the public is limited to 5 minutes, with those speaking in favor going first, followed by those in opposition, then a 5-minute rebuttal from the presenter of the bill. Clerk Toronto, please give resolution 2616.
I'm sorry. A resolution of the South Bend Common Council acknowledging the history of racial discrimination, environmental harm, dissemination, and industrial pollution impacting the LaSalle Park neighborhood, and formally apologizing to the residents and families of the community.
All right. Is there a committee report?
Yes, there is. This was heard in residential neighborhoods this afternoon and was given a favorable recommendation.
All right, petitioner, I ask that you state your name and address for the record
Sherry,
and give your presentation.
Sherry Bolden Simpson, 6216 Exeter Court, 5th District.
Oliver Davis, 1801 Nash Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46613. And I'm the councilman at large for those city.
All right, your presentation.
Council members, we're here today to take the first step to healing, and that is an apology for the systemic racism that occurred in many decades. And as you will see, this one specifically points to the LaSalle Park area, and it also acknowledges that it was system-wide racism that relegated Black people to live in that area substandard, and we want to start the healing, and that's why we are here today. We should follow what other municipalities have done, and they are better for it, and South Bend can be better for it.
Okay.
I should note that both of us, Councilwoman Sherry Bowden Simpson and I, are counselors. We have worked in the schools, and it's important when we do conflict resolutions. She and I have done several groups together. And one of the first things when we are working with our children and our parents is we talk about just saying simple, I'm sorry. And it goes a long way from 5th grade to 8th grade. It goes a long way in high school. It goes a long way in the city. It goes a long way in all of our families who make up South Bend. Just to say, I'm sorry. And then we show it by doing action. And even helping out tonight and in the discussion was part of that action. Whether it was issues or whatever, that passion is part of that action. And we want to start at the heart of the matter. At the heart of the matter, which started this whole thing, was Councilman Henry Davis and the whole crew who were working over at the LaSalle Park neighborhood. And they initiated this, and then the council took fire. Now the city's taking fire. And I want to thank them because of the fact that whereas the LaSalle Park neighborhood in the city of South Bend, it has historically been a home to significant Black communities, that they had to deal with so many things that other communities, other sections of town did not necessarily have to. The social and cultural and political, economic, I even say the environment. I should have even added that one, the environmental issues, because that's what we're dealing with Becks Lake. We're dealing with all these issues of unequal public investment. And you can go into the report that I'm so glad that Ms. Trina Robinson's here tonight. And she shared that report a couple of weeks ago. It was just moving and riveted as they broke it down into several different categories. And it all came out of LaSalle Neighborhood Park. And so therefore, while we look at the LaSalle Park neighborhood, when we look at that, I appreciate the next resolution that's going to talk about the whole entire city. But before we get to the whole entire city, we got to go to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter was the LaSalle Park neighborhood. And we see where the industrial dumping, the contamination, and the pollution associated with this. And it's not just happening in the past years and it's all gone away with. We still got the EPA out there today in 2026. And we had a covenant that we had to sign this year, back in February of this year. So this problem that happened way before I was born, way before Councilwoman Bowden Simpson was born, and it's still continuing in 2026 with our babies, our kids, our families. And so there are different issues out there that we still got to deal with. And whereas this generation, this is what it talks about, generations of residents, those who were here, those who have gone on to their rest, and those who even are being born out there because this is a history. And so today we are saying first, before we even get to the whole entire city of South Bend, we start at the heart of the matter, which was the LaSalle Park neighborhood. And so we wanted to come to you all to say the simple words, I'm sorry.
Councilman, do you have any questions? All right, we'll go to the public.
We can't hear you.
We'll go to the public hearing session. Clerk Toronto, is there anyone in the public in the chambers or online that would like to speak in favor?
We do have individuals in the chambers that would like to speak in favor. Can those of you line up in the chambers here and say your name and address for the record, please?
Trina Robinson, 2604 Southeast Drive. I am in favor of this resolution. I think apology is a great start. However, considering the contaminants and the things that are going on, we need to really consider moving beyond just an apology. There needs to be some action, and I hope that this council will really consider moving forward with due diligence, with some action. I think it will bring the community as a whole together to show that there's a consecrated effort to right a wrong. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Sophia Wilson. I live at 1010 Quimby Street here in South Bend. Strongly in favor of this resolution. It is the very bare minimum first step to begin towards healing. And as she stated just now, like it is not the last thing that needs to be done. Like there needs to be way more beyond this that needs to happen to continue. And this is a step in that direction.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Markinella, 1010 Quimby Street. I am strongly in favor of this resolution. This is a great step forward for repairing and healing our city and our community. And this is a great chance for this government to be on the right side of history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Miranda Schwab. I reside at 307 East LaSalle Avenue here in South Bend, and I am strongly in favor of this resolution. As others have said, it's a very important first step to righting the historical wrongs, but also, especially as there are environmental and health concerns, it's important to stop harm from continuing to be perpetuated against residents of the LaSalle Park neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Myra L. Butts. I live at 744 North Jacob Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46617. I came, the spirit of my parents brought me out tonight to say something. I support this apology. I was a child when in the 50s and 60s when all this took place, and my mother spoke out. We lived on the west side for a while, and my mother and father they spoke out in favor of improving conditions over there back in the 50s and 60s. And so I just think this is a good idea. This is good. It's a first start. And I just hope that you will take action on all the recommendations that were presented to you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. State your name and address for the record, please.
Kurt Lewis Colazar, 19120 Strawberry Hills Road, South Bend. I also maintain a permanent apartment in Mishawaka. The house is for my child. Basically, I'm proud of this city. I came back here of the work that all of you have done. I started a process 9 years ago myself, and it wasn't the groundwork, the framework wasn't there. We're moving forward. As far as the rest of it, I have an extensive, almost 30 years experience with industrial and commercial real estate. Should I say highly contaminated? This one right here is what I have cancer from. They're all EPA sites, Superfund sites. You're going the right way. And in the city's behalf, monitoring wells are the only thing that I've ever seen that anybody ever, EPA had a strict criteria that they go through. That's the law. They're not, there's nobody cutting any corners. There's no sleight of hand with any government money. That's just the way it is. I worked at Rocky Flats for almost 12 years. This is the most hazardous building on the planet. I'm alive to tell about it because of the safety protocols. You people have done a fantastic job. As far as the I don't know, my grandfather built Bendix. My father was over there. I worked at Bendix Honeywell as well. And as far as our investors that they're getting in here, we lost personally. My son is a commercial real estate developer, CAM of Florida, CAM group of companies. We lost Blackstone because of what happened 9 years ago. We couldn't put that kind of money together with the particular two buildings. I brought Oakpeas in here. They were both attorneys at Notre Dame. I brought them in here from Nigeria. I was their personal bodyguard in their home. And this administration ran them through so many hoops because nobody knew what they're doing. I can't imagine the paperwork that you have had to go through and you and everybody else to get this in order. It's long overdue. I think the solution here would be some monitoring wells. They only take Superfund sites. My family, when they were Bureau of Solid Waste manager, and Blackthorn was a contaminated site, they normally pull off 10 inches of topsoil. I believe what I looked through, and I just looked through this, 24 inches, which is over and above. They do air monitoring, they do water, and I'm a former safety officer at the National Energy Technology Laboratory, Albany Research, documented with security clearance. I don't think anybody in this room knew that, but that's a fact. You're going in the right way. I think, and by the way, I don't know who hasn't, I'm not saying anybody hasn't done their due diligence, but Mary Cunningham married Mr. Rajesh. She was the Harvard graduate, 30-year-old, and the city signed an agreement. They have a foundation. Has anybody approached her? I've met her. Has anybody approached her foundation for reparation there for the money? Has anybody bothered to? That would be a very good first start, I would think. Just a letter or reach out. I'd actually offer to do that. She may or may not remember me. Quite frankly, she might not, but it's worth a shot. The government has deep, Mr. Trump cut all the funding for right now, but they have deep pockets. I know that several of and I've worked on in excess of 24 Superfund sites all over the United States and several out of the country. So, and that's Department of Energy had an office in Kiev as well. It is what it is. They have deep pockets. I think patience here, and just it is what it is. This is a dying Rust Belt community. I don't think it's ever going to turn into Gary or anything else that people have fears about. I'm actually proud to say that I came from South Bend. I didn't used to be, maybe 20 years ago, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good at public speaking.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much.
Just condolences to all of you. People don't realize the mountains of paperwork you have to sift through and the stuff. Anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yes, we have 2 individuals online. Mr. Geiger, please unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and state your name and address.
Good evening, Jordan Geiger, 302 South Falcon Street. I'm speaking in favor of the resolution. I want to thank all the council members who have who've supported this resolution, and also all the members of the public who came out, and the commission under the leadership of Trina Robinson for getting the report done, and just remaining steadfast to ensure that we get justice or some semblance of justice for our communities. As I mentioned before in the past, I was born and raised in LaSalle Park. My great-grandfather, my great-uncle moved there in the 1940s. Neither one of them could read or write. They bought homes, which our families don't own now. But they worked very hard to raise their families, most of whom have been successful, and have gone on to buy homes in the city of South Bend. And so this was really, really important for myself personally. I know Kat, Henry, Mr. Creighton, who's now deceased, who pushed this resolution originally in 2022 when it was filed in December 2022, because we had recognized that the LaSalle Park neighborhood had historically been divested from and ignored. And many residents, were calling for there to be more investment, especially in the way of affordable housing. So Henry put forward that first resolution, and in that resolution, the first provision actually called for an apology for the LaSalle Park residents because of the redlining work that had taken place earlier that year, where there was a report or a study done and a commission that was formed. I know Kat was on that. And then also, we have the racial wealth divide report, which showed that Census Tract 16 and Black residents in general were really lacking in wealth and experiencing tremendous income inequality. So it was really important for us to raise the issue of reparations in that moment, because the city of South Bend was set to receive $60 million from the federal government through the American Rescue Plan. So I just want to acknowledge everyone who's been part of this process over the last 3-4 years, now almost 4 years, if you go back to almost 4 years, since the bill was originally filed in December of 2022. And I just hope that beyond an apology that we look towards implementing things that are material and measurable, especially with respect to affordable housing and testing. And I know that we have conversations scheduled with some council members this week, Dr. Bettinger and Councilwoman Tomas Morgan, and hopefully we'll be able to meet with others to try to shore up some support for the other two resolutions that we propose. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Ms. Kat Redding, please unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and state your name and address.
Yeah, thank you. Kat Redding, 1409 Minor Street. I'd like to just thank the presenters of this resolution and bringing forth this resolution. I think this is definitely a step forward for the community of LaSalle Park, and thank you to the commissioners who got this report together to present to the council and gathering all the details. Thank you, Trina Robertson, for making that happen and making sure that it got completed. And I just want to really just take the time to thank thank LaSalle Park Alliance that, you know, pushed year after year. As Jordan was saying, we literally have been pushing just for this apology resolution since 2022. So to actually see it to come into fruition now, it's definitely a surreal moment for us. And we are just really happy to have this moment right now and the support of the council backing that, you know, some long historical moments some have lived through, some have lived and died through, that change is being ushered in. I'm looking forward to implementation in the LaSalle Park area, giving the people in the LaSalle community that justice, I think, is well overdue. I am the fourth generation here in South Bend of my family. We started on the lake just as every other Black family, eventually moved in the 1950s to the east side of town. And so, you know, this to me is just a surreal moment, and I couldn't be more happier. I think I'll be more happier once I see implementation actually happening, but this is the beginning, so I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
At this time, I do not see any individuals in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Any opposition? Anyone want to speak in opposition?
I do not see any individuals from the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition of the bill.
All right, well, I'll bring back to the council. Council members, do you want to
Thank
have
you.
any comments? Councilwoman McBride?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the presenters for bringing this. Being a resident born and raised directly on Becks Lake, grew up at 310 South Chicago and then 449 North Falcon, literally out on Falcon Street at the lake. So seeing this move forward and continue to address the residents. There's a lot of great leaders in South Bend and throughout the country that have come from LaSalle Park, the Becks Lake area. So we got a lot of great stock that have been born and raised and came out of there from residents, and a lot of things with Washington High School. And I mean, it just goes on from the great community that is from the lake. And I am excited that this had finally come forward, and thank you to the presenters.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, I just want to say, as a person my family was from that area also, Newcomb Street and Cayley, again, to see the greatness that has come out of that area in spite of all the opposition. And so today we are grateful to be able to offer that apology to those particular residents, and then the next resolution will do it for the rest of them. So with that being said, I'll now entertain a motion.
Motion for adoption.
Second.
With a motion in the second, Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right, Resolution 2616 has been adopted. All right, Clerk Toronto, please give 2617 a reading.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving the purchase of real property located at 2950 Lathrop Street, South Bend, Indiana.
All right, is there a committee report?
Yes.
Mhm.
Come to the council, full council with a favorable recommendation.
All right, is there a petitioner? State your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council. Michael Schmidt, Assistant City Attorney with offices on the sixth floor of this building. Thank you for the opportunity to present this once again this evening. What you have in front of you is a resolution requesting for the purchase of certain parcels of land approximately located at 2950 Lathrop Street. This is tied into a public works reconstruction project at the intersection of Bendix and Vorty Drive, continuing north up to Lathrop Road. The primary purpose of this reconstruction is to take Bendix down from 4 lanes and shrink it down to 3, while also increasing pedestrian facilities and access by way of trails. It's part of the city's long-term connectivity mission. And what we have to do, because the acquisition price is expected to be above $25,000, is to receive council's permission for us to pursue this acquisition. And then we'll also go through the process through Public Works to also make that acquisition. So this resolution authorizes Public Works to make that acquisition. And it also authorizes city staff to be able to go through the proper steps here to adhere to the statute.
All right, thank you. Council members, do we have any questions? We talked about it in committee, so. All right, we'll now go to the public hearing. Clerk Toronto, is anyone from the public looking to speak in favor?
At this time, I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
At this time, the public hearing portion of this hearing is now closed. I will now entertain a motion.
Move for adoption.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right. 2617 has been adopted. Right. Do I need to come down or can I present from here?
Your call.
Whatever you're
I'll
comfortable with.
present from here. This is Bill 2618. Clerk Toronto, please give a read.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, formally accepting the historical sections of the final report of the Reparatory Justice Commission and the history of racial discrimination against Black residents documented therein, acknowledging the analyses and recommendation sections of the report for purposes of policy discussions, and issuing a formal apology from the Common Council and on behalf of the City of South Bend.
I am the petitioner. Whereas on September 25th, 2023, the Common Council of the City of South Bend established the Reparatory Justice Commission to examine the history of racial discrimination amongst Black residents of South Bend and to recommend measures by which the city might repair the documented harms of that history. And whereas the commission, composed of community members with expertise across housing, employment, education, health, civil rights, and public service, conducted over 18 months of research, almost 2.5 years, public testimony, archival inquiry, and community engagement. And whereas the commission produced a final report of 138 pages documenting extensive history of racial discrimination, economic opportunity and employment, housing, education, health and mental health, policing and criminal justice systems sustained over more than a century, and identified 62 specific recommendations for the city, the Common Council, allied institutions, and community partners. And whereas the historical record of the commission has compiled draws on official municipal records, federal and state archives, scholarly research, and the lived testimonies of South Bend residents whose families experienced the harms documented therein. Whereas the council recognizes that an accurate account of the city's history is the foundation on which any honest repertory efforts must build from. And whereas the commission's analysis and recommendations represent a substantive framework for further discussion from which the work of repair with the Common Council and the administration of the City of South Bend, along with the South Bend Community School Corporation, the Housing Authority of South Bend, the St. Joe County Health Department, area hospitals and universities, faith communities, philanthropic institutions, and the broader business community bear collective and shared responsibility for the implementation of policies and legislation within the bounds of the Constitution and applicable law to benefit all residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend as follows. Section 1, the Common Council formally accepts the historical sections of the final report of the Reparatory Justice Commission and enters them into a permanent public record of the City of South Bend. Section 2, the Common Council acknowledges on behalf of the City of South Bend the history of racial discrimination documented in the report and economic opportunity and employment, housing, education, health and mental health, policing and criminal justice systems sustained over more than a century. Section 3, on behalf of the City of South Bend, the Common Council apologizes to the Black residents of the City of South Bend, past and present, for that history and for the harms that it has caused. Section 4, the Common Council expresses gratitude to the members of the Reparatory Justice Commission for their work, to the community members whose testimonies made that work possible, to former Council President Sharon McBride for impaling the commission, and to Council President Kenneth Lee for shepherding the report to its current place among the historical documents of the City of South Bend. Section 5, the Common Council commits to preserving the Commission's final report, supporting documentation and historic research as a permanent public record, including through a dedicated public website to be developed in partnership with the St. Joe County Public Library and the Indiana University Civil Rights Heritage Center. Section 6, the Common Council calls upon the administration of South Bend to act upon the analysis and recommendation of the report as a framework for discussion and for the implementation of policies and legislation within the executive authority and within the limits of the federal and state laws and the constitutions, and in coordination with the Common Council, and to report periodically the Common Council and the public on the implementation of those actions. Section 7, the Common Council recognizes that the work of repair extends beyond the authority of any single body or branch of city government and calls upon the South Bend Community School Corporation, the Housing Authority of South Bend, the St. Joe County Health Department, area hospitals and universities, faith communities, I can't say it right now, philanthropic institutions, and the broader business community to engage with the Commission's recommendations as basis for further discussion and implementation of policies and legislation within their respective sphere of responsibilities. And then Section 8, the resolution shall take effect upon passage by the South Bend Common Council and approval by the mayor dated this 22nd day of June, 2026. I think it was pretty self-explanatory. We want to make sure that, again, that we address what the commission asked us to do. They asked for an apology. The mayor did that. They asked for an apology. The common council is doing that, and then making the document a historical document. So, any other questions?
Thank you for including that. There was a second you just read about, it says they shall report periodically. I just wanted to, for the record, what's our definition of periodically? Is this 1 year, every 5 years, every 10 years? What's periodically? Because I think given the nature of this kind of thing and what we even experienced in our last, is there any consideration to, when we vote on this, to make a specific time? I appreciated what Attorney Palmer did with 3 to 6, but is it an annual time
I think
for
it
them to
actually
come back?
says
Or what?
some annual for the recommendations.
I know, but that last section, since that first one said annual and the last one said periodically, my thing is, can they be coordinated to make sure that there's no deviation between? Because one said in the same report, one said annual, and then another part of it said they report periodically. So that's the only concern I have.
I think annual.
Pardon me?
I said I think annual will be good.
Okay, I'm at peace then. Can we just make that note for the record? And I'm at
Make a
peace.
note for that for the record.
I appreciate it.
Any
Thank you,
other
sir.
questions?
I'm at peace. Thank you for making that note.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution with the understanding of the correction that was just made.
So moved.
I'm sorry, we need a public
Or a
hearing.
second.
Oh, I'm so
Oh.
sorry. Did we not? Public hearing. I'm
No,
so
we didn't do
sorry.
public hearing.
So sorry. We'll now go to the public. Clerk Toronto, is anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
Yes, we have members from the public in person. For those of you speaking in person, please line up and state your name and address. Thank you.
Trina Robinson, 2904 Southeast Drive. On behalf of the commission, first of all, I would like to give our condolences to Keisha Jacobs, who was a member of the commission. We extend our heartfelt condolences. She was very dear to a lot of us, and she's truly going to be missed. Also, we would like to thank the council for empowering us to do this work. It has not been easy, and it has been a very long journey. I would personally like to thank Dr. Heller in his absence for trusting me to chair this commission in his illness. And I would also like to thank the community as whole because we had some good moments and we had some bad moments, but the moments that we had was allotted us to bring forth the document that we have. And me personally, I would like to personally thank all of the commission workers that worked with me and trusted me, and those subcommittee chairs that moved forward to bring forth a document that I feel the city of South Bend can be pleased with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Sophia Wilson. I live at 1010 Quimby Street here in South Bend. I'm strongly in favor of this resolution. I think it's incredibly important to have an official historical document of this nature. And I think it's especially important that any policymaking forthwith has a document of this nature to refer to and to base the policymaking upon.
Thank you. Yes.
Markinella, 1010 Quimby Street. I want to thank all the organizers and council people and researchers who have done a tremendous amount of work making this happen. It is very important that we know our history. I'm very excited that this is a thing that will be happening with the library and with the Civil Rights Heritage Center, that we will be not covering up our troubled history, but putting it forefront, teaching the next generations what the reality of our city is. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Miranda Schwab. My address is 307 East LaSalle Avenue. Echoing what others said, I am strongly in favor of this resolution, and I would urge the Common Council and the City of South Bend to let this history, let these facts see the light of day. Do not try to obscure them. These mistakes of the past are things that we must learn from.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Clerk Toronto?
Yes. Mr. Geiger, please unmute yourself. Turn your camera on and state your name and address, please, for the record.
All right, thank you, Jordan Geiger, 302 South Falcon Street. I apologize, I can't be there in person. I'm at a conference for work. I just want to first thank you all for this resolution. I think it's needed. An apology to the whole Black community. And although while I support it, I do want to acknowledge that I do think it's problematic that the mayor has not shown up to any of the meetings about the reparations, but had a press conference apologizing. And I think it's disingenuous for the city, for us to expect that the city itself, without working with residents, without evaluating current and past behaviors, to do right by Black people in this city, when there has been a pattern and practice of disrespect shown to Black residents. When I think about the 14-year-old Black girl who the mayor said essentially deserved to be treated the way she did when she was pinned to the ground, I think that's very problematic. I think when you all adopted a fee on body cameras, knowing the racial wealth and income disparities in this community, and you're charging up to $75,
Mr. Geiger,
$25.
Mr. Geiger, are you in favor of the resolution?
That's what I just said. That's how I opened it. But I'm acknowledging
Okay,
some of the
okay.
shortcomings, things that we need to work on, right? We're acknowledging harm and apologizing for that, right? But when you adopt a policy, we're charging $25 an hour to work a video, up to $75 per video. And now we have a situation where a mom whose Black son was killed by the police, and she can't even afford to get video evidence to know what happened with her son. I think that's a problem and a policy that needs to be evaluated. When a mother calls in and says that her son is experiencing suicidal ideation, and your policy in the duty manual of the police department
Mr.
says
Geiger,
that.
Mr. Geiger,
Can I finish what I'm saying? Can I finish what I'm saying? I can't finish my. I can't make my comment. Are there guardrails around what I say? I said I'm speaking in favor.
I think okay.
Can I finish what I'm saying, please?
You
See, this is the harm. This is the harm right here. This is the harm.
But you're
And then
straying
Black
off.
people.
You're
I'm not straying off the point. I'm
You're
not.
straying off of what
How? How
the
can it?
resolution
How?
is. And so,
How?
Again, because if you're in favor, we're in favor.
I said
of
I'm in
this.
favor of it. I thanked you
Okay.
all for putting it forward, right?
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So I'm acknowledging some of the problems and things that need to be worked on.
Okay.
Is that okay?
No,
Or
because
is that a problem?
What the problem is, we're
What?
asking for you to be in favor. If you're in favor,
I am in
then-
favor. I said
then-
I'm speaking in favor of it, and I thanked you all for putting it forward.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Now you just took up my whole time.
Thank you.
So can I reclaim my time? Or no?
Yes, please reclaim your time.
Hold on. I'm running the meeting, Mr.
You
Davis.
running the show, right? I know.
Yeah, but then that's out of line too.
Okay.
It's
Oh.
okay. Anyway,
All right. Thank you, sir.
again, this is
Thank you
the
for
kind
your
of behavior
comment.
I'm talking about. This is the kind of behavior I'm talking about, and it's crazy when your own people do it to you. When they
It
get in
is
positions of
crazy when
power.
your own people do
Yeah.
it to you. It really is.
And what am I doing to you?
Being very,
I didn't
very
even-
I'm asking you, can we please
You
get
cut me off.
Can we get to the end of your comments, and we can
I
so
was
we can
trying
move
to, and then you
forward.
cut me off.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we know
Okay. Yeah, we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Miss Kat Redding, can you please unmute yourself and turn your camera on and state your name and address?
Cat Redding, 1409 Each Minor. And I am speaking in favor, of course. But I did have a question in regards, because I know Trina just thanked Daryl Heller for his contribution, but I believe that he was over the policing part of the Repertory Justice Commission. He was chairing policing, if I'm not mistaken, and we still haven't heard anything in regards to policing. And we just had someone killed that had a mental health breakdown. So my question is, when is that portion of the repertory justice um, report going to come out? And I just want to thank again the presenter of this resolution. So thank you very much. But I'd really like to know the most harm that we know outside of the environment is policing. As we know, two people this year have been killed by the police. Not only have two people been killed, they were killed on the anniversary. The last person that got killed was killed on the anniversary of Eric Logan. And not to get off topic, and I'm sorry, but I just want to know, when is the policing part of the repertory justice report going to be released? As we know, that is a critical component of the Repertory Justice Commission's report. So thank you to the presenter. Thank you to the council for putting this resolution together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that will be something that they once they're. Go, come on.
Pat, thank you for your concerns, and we do share those concerns because that is a very important part of our report. However, due to the illness of Dr. Heller and the recent death of his father, we are giving him time to grieve and to collect himself so that we can do so. We are moving swiftly with due diligence because it is very important, and we realize this is something that the community has asked for. And so I would hate to put a time frame on it and be held accountable for something, for unforeseen circumstances, but I do want to let the community know that that is something that we are doing due diligence of, because I personally, as the president of the NAACP, do feel that this is very important and it cannot go unnoticed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Anyone else?
I do not see any additional members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
I will now, then, any other comments from any of the council members?
President Lee, we need to talk. We need to do opposition.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. All
Are there
right.
any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition? At this time, I do not see any members of the public wanting to speak in opposition. Thank you.
All right. At this point, the public hearing portion is now closed. Council members, do you want to make any comments? Or yes, ma'am?
I want to say that these two bills, the 2616 and the 2618, gives us a lens to look at everything that we're doing. So we can move from just apology to policy.
Thank you.
Thank
I'd just
you.
like to, I'm grateful that Ms. Redding raised the point about the police. And it is something that is concerning when there are mental health issues that are related to any kind of shooting. And I think that I look forward to the report. I would say that in light of, if depending on how long, then you all have to make a decision on if you have to make any kind of change to that, and maybe somebody else would have to chair it given his health and other issues, because it's so important that just to hold it up for one person out of respect, and I understand that. But when you deem the right time, then I would look forward to hearing that as we make future plans for the city, because it is such a key issue when it comes to that. And after we all have finished comments, I'd like to be able to go back to the motion that we had had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you to everyone who participated and helped to bring this to pass. It's important.
President Lee, I just want to confirm the amendment that we're adding to the resolution, that there will be a yearly report from the commission.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
taking that, the other section out of there that said, there was a part that said yearly, and then there came back another part that said periodically.
No,
We strike the word periodically out to make sure everything said annual.
I'm sorry. I think that it said that the administration would give us updates,
But at least an annual.
but it will come from the administration because the commission is disbanded.
So the
So-
annual update will come from administration.
Yes.
That's fine.
And that wording, I just
That's
want to
cool.
confirm the wording so
I'm
that
not-
we
I just wanted the word annual. I didn't worry about where it
Okay.
came from at
Okay,
all.
thank
My
you.
own word was just
Yep.
annual.
I just want to be clear.
All right.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
now
you.
entertain a motion.
I'd like to restate the motion that we will adopt this resolution with the wording of annual be included in that section instead of periodic, and everything else is the same. And I thank the presenters. Yes.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan, Councilmember Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers,
Aye.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski, Vice President Niskoski,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
I have 8 ayes.
All right. Resolution 2618 is passed. Clerk Toronto, please give Resolution 2619 another reading.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appointing an agent negotiator and an advisory Common Council negotiating team to represent the Common Council in the upcoming South Bend Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 36 negotiations.
All right, I am the presenter of that. FOP Lodge 36 has notified the city of its intent.
Presently, excuse me, yeah, committee report.
Committee report.
I believe that would have been
Favorable.
personnel and finance.
Personnel finance. It's late.
2619 was heard in Personnel and Finance today and was given a favorable recommendation to the full council.
All right, thank you very much. I'm the petitioner. FOP Lodge 36 has notified the city of its intent to renegotiate its collective bargaining agreement with the city. This proposed resolution names our attorney Bob Palmer as the council's agent negotiator on behalf of the Common Council. And the resolution also names Common Council Advisory Team consisting of Rachel Thomas Morgan, Vice President Sheila Niskoski, and President Kenneth Lee to represent the council during the negotiations. With that being said, are there any questions?
When do they start? You know?
We don't have a date yet, but once we approve this resolution, then we'll find out from them.
My guess would be early July.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Sirs.
Any other questions? At this time, we'll go to the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
At this time, I do not see any individuals from the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
All right, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
I do not have any members that in person that would like to speak in opposition, but I do have Mr. Jordan Geiger online. Please unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and state your name and address.
Thank you, Jordan Geiger, 302 South Falcon Street. I'm only speaking in opposition because I have some concerns about the process. I'm just wondering when a resolution like this is brought before the council, does it take two sponsors to bring a resolution forward, or can one council member bring it forward? Because I thought that I think chapter 2 of the code was changed that required that was designed to foster conversation and engagement among the council members. And so that's why I thought each resolution or ordinance that was brought forward, piece of legislation, would require two sponsoring council members.
Mr. Palmer, can you answer that question?
Resolutions only require one sponsor, Jordan.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. All right. If there's no one else at this time, I will now entertain a motion.
Motion for adoption?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Councilmember Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Gooden Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dr. Bidinger.
Aye.
Vice President Niskoski.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
8 ayes.
All right, resolution 2619 has been adopted. Bills on first reading. Clerk Toronto, please give Bill 3826 a first reading.
First reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a petition of the Advisory Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 2404 West Western Avenue, Councilmanic District Number 6 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
All right, I'll now entertain a motion to send to the South Bend Board of Zoning Appeals for public hearing on July 6th and send to the Zoning and Annexation Committee for public hearing and third reading on July 13th.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. All right, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business from the council members? Is there any new business?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a quick question. On matters like we just voted on to send issues to zoning committees or any committee, is there any way that prior to the bill being sent to them, that there could be some consideration of sending a letter to the chair of that committee prior to that? Because it gets kind of challenging when you're trying to put things on your own agenda. And then there's a lot of other things that are sent. And it's almost like you're the chair of a committee that you can't set the agenda to. So is there any ways prior to, when you all have your meetings and something's coming to zoning or something's coming to health and public safety, something's coming to utilities, that a little phone call, a text message or whatever can say, is this a good date? Is the 13th better than the 27th? Because to chair something, there's issues that come up. I know earlier when we were dealing with something, even with a resolution with them, I know Councilwoman Bowden Simpson was about to go out of town, and I'm glad you graciously allowed us to do the thing ahead of time. But you don't know that, and we don't know that. So if there's any way before we put things on people's committees, I don't care who the committee is, that they could at least, even before it's on the agenda, just make sure that that council person says that's a good weekend, because maybe the 27th is better than the 13th.
So, Dr. Davis, to your question, those dates are set in the Board of Zoning Appeals and BZA meetings at their public hearings. So we don't actually set when those meetings are coming to.
They'll go ahead and we don't have any authority on when we can hear them at all.
I mean, we can work with zoning.
Is that in ordinance that we don't have any authority on that?
Automatically.
Because even like with the South Bend plan today, if those meetings were, if we can check with the chair on something, I know the South Bend plan, those things, because I've been with that many years, that definitely, I mean, I'm on the plan, so I know when it's coming most of the time. But the thing is,
finish my statement,
yeah,
please?
go ahead.
Because we're happy to work with zoning, and we're happy to work to make sure, like, if there's a date that you are not going to be available or you want it to be at a certain time, we can work with them to see what we can do.
Okay.
So,
But isn't that the
Matthew and
reason
I,
why we have vice chairs in case we can't be there? Vice chair can stand
Yes.
in.
we do, but some of the bills can be time sensitive,
I
Dr.
understand.
Davis. And
I
so
recognize that.
what we can do is that Matthew and I can work with you directly, and just ensure that you have some type of you know what's coming before
Mhm.
you before.
And it's not only just me. And that's for anybody, any chair. I just think that is great to know from the standpoint. So it just helps us to be able to budget better and plan there's some things that we want to discuss on a Monday, and there's some things we could have a meeting away from that, and we just coordinate with your office on that, because we don't have to put every key issue that we have to do on Monday is leads us to after 10 o'clock. Some things we can literally have later on another time, depending on the need of the committee.
Dr., does it help, like, for instance, like tonight, that for example, of what you're talking about, like our first reading, that for instance, the next, this first reading is coming to ZNA on July 13th? Is that, I'm trying to see what it is that you're saying, so I'll understand what you're saying.
No, so I'm saying prior to that being recommended to be on the 13th, that this should just have just a green light from the chair, just making sure it was a green light before the health committee, a green light before that. Is there any way we could have a little check off? That's all I'm saying to you.
Well, I don't know if doesn't it also correlate with the timing of when the bills are filed?
Does, because it depends on when the bill is filed and when the other public hearings are.
Okay.
Well, I recognize it. I'm just saying.
So, I mean, a lot of it we'll see when they file the staff report, administration, when they file their staff reports, we will know that information. What we can do is just ensure that you get those, before you come here. And that way, if there's any issues, that you communicate with us so that we can see what we can do on our end and work with administration.
Be sure it's your answer. I'm at peace.
Thank you. All right.
I can't promise anything.
No,
I will say that.
I just
for the
appreciate what you're
record,
trying. No,
but I will try.
I recognize. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. To go along with a little bit further what Ms. Robinson said about Mr. Keisha Jacobs, please keep her family and the community lifted up. She's a very big advocate of gun violence and helped a lot of youth and young adults in our community and was a great advocate. So that is a great loss to our community, and just keep them uplifted at this time. I would also like to say that there's a 3rd District bus tour this Saturday from 10 to 2, leaving from IUSB parking lot and ending at Mount Carmel Church. So anyone is welcome. And if you are wanting to attend, please let me know so the clerk's office can have it prepared in a number count. Thank you.
Also, in the way of new business, there's going to be an informational session on Tuesday night, the 23rd at 6 p.m. at the NNN Community Center, 1013 Portage Avenue. And then also Wednesday night, June 24th at 6 p.m. at the NNN, talking about the former Drury's Brewing site. So if those of you who are interested in finding out more information, it'll be at the NNN Tuesday and Wednesday night.
And I have that on last Friday, which was Juneteenth. Rachel Thomas Morgan and President Lee and myself, we attended a grand opening for My Mother's Keeper, which is a new non-medical emergency transportation business, which opened up at 1204 Lincoln Way West. So if you need some help getting your loved ones to the doctor, or you just need a ride yourself, she is open.
All right, thank you. All right. We will now go to privilege of the floor.
Can I state something under new business?
Yes.
Just a reminder that the next council meeting is July 13th because there's 5 Mondays in June.
Oh, so we get a break.
You do?
All
Yes.
right. All right. Thank you. All right, everybody, we're wrapping this up. Privilege of the floor. Disrespectful, rude, or disruptive speech or actions will not be tolerated. Such speech or actions, as well as verbal attacks on any person, may result in the individual, without notice, forfeiting the remainder of his or her allotted time. Individuals who wish to speak to the council must state their name and residential address and turn on their camera if they're online. Individuals will be limited 3 minutes. The maximum time limit for this portion of the meeting is 30 minutes. Individuals should not be permitted to address topics which the council has heard previously on the agenda. The council president may assign topics raised by the individual during the privilege of the floor to the appropriate council member or request the city clerk to contact a member of the city administration for review, and topics assigned shall be responded to at the next scheduled council meeting. Is there anyone, Clerk Toronto, that would like to speak at privilege of the floor?
Yes. Are there any members of the public in person that would like to speak under privilege of the floor? If so, please come up to the mic and state your name and address for the record.
Kurt Lewis Colazar, 19120 Strawberry Hill Road, South Bend, Indiana, 46614, and I also maintain an apartment in Mishawaka. I don't wish to address something that's addressed, but I currently work for a large safety company, and I work with all convicted felons that are out of jail, and they're all on some kind of mental health meds, so my hat's off to you. I don't want to address this with the police department, but these guys probably ought to be making some more money for what they have to handle and deal with. I wouldn't, anyway, I know what I'm dealing with. In 1 month, I had three guns pulled on me at work. I'm just saying I'm an old grandpa, but my hat's off to all of you with the balancing act that you're trying to perform here. I think some of it's genetic, a lot of it's multi-generational. I'm not sure, just counseling. And I dated 2 psychologists, not psychiatrists, for the counseling. I shouldn't have to, in my personal life, did you take your meds today or didn't you? Isn't that a job for good parenting? And I realize most of the parenting these days are, a lot of them, single family, particular at risk. But I sponsor 4 men of color. Currently, I got 2 in the service. Went to bat for them, and I haven't lost one yet out of 21. Sometimes tough love works. Communication always works. My hat's off to everything. It didn't used to be like this. 30 years ago, you couldn't trust anybody for anything. I can personally speak to that. It is what it is. So thank you for just, you guys don't make much money for everything you have to do and listen to, and you have the weight of the entire population on your shoulders. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Geiger, please unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and state your name and address, please, for the record.
Yep, thank you. Jordan Geiger, 302 South Falcon Street. This is not related to anything on the agenda, obviously, but I wanted to follow up on the comment questions that Oliver raised. I was looking at the agenda for this meeting, specifically at the zoning and annexation. And so Bob mentioned that ordinances or resolutions don't require 2 sponsors, but I had a question about ordinances for zoning. When those are put forward by the administration, do they have to get a council sponsor? And are they agendized by the president, by the chair, or by the city itself? I'm just asking because if ordinances have to get 2 sponsors, I don't know if that's the case, if it's different for zoning ones, but does the city have to get a sign off from a council member or 2 before it's put on the agenda?
Jordan, this is
That's it.
Bob.
That's my question.
The zoning ordinances and things from the administration do not need to have a council member sign off on it. There's specific provisions of the municipal code saying how those come to the council. Ordinances also do not need more than 1 sponsor to be filed. So when the administration files something, especially in zoning, those agenda dates are set in part by what committee it goes to here in the council, whether it has to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals or Plan Commission, depending on what their meeting schedule is, and then it comes back to the council generally for the council's next meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
At this time, I do not see anyone additional in the chambers or online wishing to speak under privilege of the floor.
All right, well, that's it for everybody. Thank you. $110 million of affordable housing tonight. It was a big night. So thank you all for everything that you've done. And thank you. God bless you and be safe. Meeting adjourned.